Hey, man, you awake? Casey,
Hey, friend.
Casey, you alive? Casey, you all right? I know it's cold, man, but they don't want to trespass you and they want you to leave, okay? Can you hear me? Casey, you all right, man? Casey.
Casey, you can't get here. Let's go.
Come on, man. Hey. You okay? Can you say something?
Let's go, Casey.
Come on.
You can't be here. Come on.
I don't want you here, man. And they don't want to trespass you.
They don't want to, but if you're going to refuse to leave, then you're going to get arrested. Let's go. We're not going to play this game all day with you, Casey. You're not welcome here.
You're welcome here for food and stuff up front during the day, Casey, as you know, but we can't have you stand on the property. In a shelter? What do you want to do? We gonna have you go, or we gonna help you get into shelter?
You want some help? You gotta talk to us, man.
Do you need a doctor?
Your eyes are open. Hey, let's go.
Come on.
You can't be here. You're going to get arrested if you keep this up. Is that what you want? I know your eyes are open. You're breathing. You can hear me. Let's go. You can't be here. You can either go inside and get help, or you need to leave. Do you need an ambulance? Do you need medical attention?
Are you born, Casey?
Come on, man.
I'm worried
Let's
about
go.
you, but come on.
Was this wagon already broken like this?
Come on, Casey.
Grab your stuff and let's go. Yeah, at this point, he's been told he needs to leave. If he's refusing to leave, even passively, he's going to get arrested for trespassing.
Where's the other girl?
She works here.
This is Katrina. I've met you a couple of times.
She's offering to get you.
Where's the woman that usually talks to me?
Hazel at the door. She's inside doing her job.
Why didn't you send her?
Because that's not her job. I work with folks that are experiencing this. You know, I try to help you get into shelter if you like it. It's cold. This is hard. I see.
Let's go get help, man.
I know that's not what you want. I know we've talked about that before. And if you don't want to go to shelter, that's your choice. But we can't have you stay in here. We've got kids here, and it's not the appropriate place for you to be staying. So we need you to respect that place.
Let's go.
I want to talk to the other girl.
She's
That's not an
inside.
option right now.
I'd like to talk to her, please.
She's doing her job. That's not part of what her job is. There's nothing that she's going to be able to do that I can't do. I know.
I'd like to talk to her, please.
What's that gonna change?
No.
Casey, at this point,
I don't appreciate the way that you guys have spoken to me.
I'm about to speak to you a whole lot
You see this?
nicer.
You see this?
You're trespassing right now,
Do you
Casey.
see his tone?
If you don't,
You see
get
the
up and
unsafe
leave,
environment he's created?
It's about to
He
get
is.
less safe.
You know the tone?
You stand
Do
up,
you hear that
and
threat?
either leave or
He
you're going to
threatened
get
me.
arrested.
Been asked to leave.
He just threatened me. Do you understand?
It's not a threat.
It is. It's
Those
your
are all
tone.
choices.
I'm gonna tell you one
You're
more
creating
time.
an unsafe environment. And I said I'd like to talk to somebody that I feel
Nope.
comfortable with.
Then go inside and talk to her.
I can't do that
She's
when
not
you're
coming
standing
out
over
here.
here stomping and threatening me. You understand?
Stand up. If you don't get up and start following directions, you're gonna.
I don't
get arrested.
appreciate the way that you're talking to me.
Is that what you want?
You're a public servant. I'm the public.
Are you gonna?
You
follow
work for me.
directions? Are you gonna do this?
If you treat me with respect, I will respect you.
We've been standing.
If you
here
act
with
hostile
the
and
utmost respect
threatening,
to you.
if you
For the
display
last
threatening
10 minutes.
behavior
Hey Casey,
and you keep an aggressive tone,
hey Casey,
you're entrapping me into an unsafe environment.
Come on, babe.
Yeah.
Let's call it out.
I'd like to talk to you.
we've
You
been
were
very
fine.
patient, Casey, and we're trying to do our best to support
I
you.
know
They
you're
don't
fault,
have
man.
to stand
We're all
out
fault.
here and wait. They just don't. So there's no
You wanna go
threatening,
outside
and there's a lot of patience going on here.
I was just waiting to see how you would handle this.
They're gonna arrest you if you don't get up and move on. That's because
They want you to leave.
we don't want that to
Or
happen.
they want to help you. You want to go inside and try
I
to
said I'd love to talk to her.
Yeah, well, let's go inside. Try to talk. Why do you want her to come out here?
She's not like.
Because I don't want to talk to you
No,
guys
that's not
because of
actually-
how he's
that's
acting.
not the way that it's gonna go.
How he's acting is it's disrespectful. It's called intimidation tactics. You understand?
We can only give you so
He,
much time.
you threatened me.
We did.
He threatened me.
We did.
He got aggressive. Don't gaslight me. It's on camera. It's on my camera too.
I know. I know you record everything. It's fine.
It's the tone, and he knows why he's doing it. And you know why he's doing it. You're not stupid.
They've asked
You guys aren't stupid, right?
Right now you're trespassing.
You guys aren't stupid, right? So why can't you speak to me like a person?
Are we not?
No. You were speaking to me like a disabled animal. Yeah, you were.
Come on.
You see? I'm right here.
You're trespassing. Come on. Grab your shoes.
See?
Grab your stuff.
You have to stick to ordering me around.
It's not ordering you. They've already asked you to leave.
If you had been polite about it and said anything other than what you guys said, I would have been fine.
I don't know if you were hearing them earlier, Casey, but they've been very patient and asking you.
I'd
to
like
get
to
up
talk
and
to the
making
other girl,
sure you're
please.
okay. I'm talking to you.
I'd
You're
like to
on our
talk to the other
property
girl,
right
please.
now, Casey, and we're trying really hard to work with you and try to keep you not out here in the elements freezing to death.
I'd
I
appreciate
go
it.
home every
I'd
night
appreciate
wondering
it.
if
I
you're
would.
okay, Casey. We do care,
I think
but we
you.
can't have you on the
I
property like
I
this.
appreciate that, but I really think you're full of it.
Okay,
I'd like to
it's
talk to the
okay.
other girl. I'm not refusing to
That's
leave.
not Hazel's job.
I'm not refusing to leave.
Hazel
know what I'm
can meet
saying?
you at the door if
I
you
just
wanna
didn't
check
feel
in
safe.
on your way
You know what I'm
out.
saying?
Fine.
I'm sure Hazel will be happy to meet you in the door to check in on your way out. If you're not
And I
looking for
never
shelter.
said that I wasn't gonna go see Hazel. I never
Okay,
said I
let's go.
wasn't going to leave. But I'm saying that the way you keep ordering me around, the way you keep talking to me, the way you were stomping, the way that you were aggressive, because I'm waiting for it to feel safe enough and comfortable enough for me to go. I'm waiting for you to talk to me like a person.
What would
I'm
make
waiting for you
feel
to
safe?
treat me with respect, and then I will go up and walk.
What would make you feel safe? You want me to back up a little bit?
Do you want to run a simulation about what the right way to address somebody that might have mental illness that's sitting out here is? Would you like a training
No, because
about how to talk to people to make them feel safe and comfortable?
Everybody's different. Every situation is going to be different. Every scenario is going to be different. You can simulate all you want. If they want you to leave, then it's time to go. Or it's cold.
No.
Yeah. I didn't really plan on standing out here for 20 minutes talking to you. If you want me to, I can go grab my jacket and we can do this all day. But I'm not going to do this all day. We have other stuff to do.
I'm just thinking. I'm not refusing. I'm just thinking.
You
Because this is new.
There's nothing to think
The way that you talk and act is new to me. So I'm exploring what it must feel like in your shoes. Because the way that you're talking to me, I've been around the country, it's not normal. This place is very different from most
Casey,
places.
what options do you see right now?
What?
What options do you see?
What options do I see?
That's what she asked.
Yeah.
I never said I wasn't. I never said I wasn't gonna. I never said I was refusing to leave. I never said I didn't.
Right
Wanna
we're
talk to
pretty
you
much
guys.
refusing to leave by not leaving. We've asked
No,
you
we're having a
5
conversation.
minutes.
At this point, we're having a
Are
conversation.
you gonna leave,
We're
Casey?
gonna leave now.
What?
Are you gonna leave?
Why are you so hostile?
I'm not trying to get hustled. I'm just
You
trying
are.
to
Your
hear
tone.
me.
Your tone is getting more aggressive. You threatened me a couple times, especially when we go back through the video. there's going to be a lot of stuff that I picked up on already.
I can't.
You see,
I'm
now-
not gonna
now you're getting
continue down this road
dismissive.
with you either.
I'm-
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I'm refusing to leave.
Options?
I was waiting for you guys to treat me with the level of respect that I deserve as the public, and you guys are public servants. I was waiting for Hazel to come out. I assumed that would be the more, just the normal thing to do. Instead of you guys just attacked me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad they left. That gives me room to move. Now that they're not surrounding me, I have room to move, right? Now that you weren't kicking around me right here, you weren't kicking around me and standing over here staring me down with that attitude. Let me get your face. There you go. Please look at me like you were just looking at me. Stare me in the eyes like you were looking at me, looking for that warrant, right? You're trying to find a way to hurt me? You're a public servant. You're supposed to treat me with respect. It's a little baby to me. Never said I was refusing to leave. From what I've seen, maybe you guys have just never been in this shoes. She looks really uncomfortable. I know it's cold. Maybe you should be out here more. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation so that you can learn this grounded sense of self. Either way, I appreciate you guys giving me space because now I can move. Right? I did ask for a supervisor. So you're saying there's not one on right now?
I'm the senior officer on right now.
Well, I asked for a supervisor, a sergeant.
On at 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock? Okay. I also asked for Hazel. Did she go in? Well, I'm gonna go inside.
No, we don't go inside.
Well, you said I could go inside if I wanted to. Huh? I'm gonna go talk to Hazel after this. You don't have to. I'm just gonna go talk to her after this. You don't have to worry about the rules and regulations. I'm just gonna go talk to my friend Hazel after this. Okay? Katrina, do you see how crazy that was? Can you recognize I was a bit emotionally charged?
I see that they came in, they were very patient, and tried to make sure you were okay. You respond right away. They gave you some options. I mean, I've got my boss's calling.
What were the options?
Options are to get some help getting in the shelter. If you can help you with that. You go to the front door, talk to Hazel, but if you're not gonna get shelter, I need you to leave because this is a school. And
Would you feel that this officer over here, would you feel that Officer Marco's presence seemed to get kind of hostile and intimidating and he seemed quick to arrest? They seemed a little impatient to me. They seemed pretty impatient to me. All right. Again, not refusing to leave. I just have a lot of stuff. If Katrina hadn't left, I would have asked to put my stuff on the wagon and go talk to Hazel and then leave. I'm here because I have a fever. I'm sick.
We offer you medical attention.
I don't need medical attention. I just felt like if anybody was gonna not call the police and have you guys come up and be that way, it would have been this place. You know what I'm saying? Look, he's stomping around, spitting. Can't look at me in the eyes. Look at that. I heard you guys confiscate drugs and they never make it into evidence. I won't say it. That's okay. Dude, there's a kid in here that's been crying for an hour and a half. just screaming. So is it, yeah, you guys don't run the property, but I know you want me to leave. I'm going to go talk to Hazel. So I'm going to stay on the property, and Katrina will probably calm down and be cool with me. I'm not just going to take all my stuff and bring the wagon to the front. I'm going to leave it and talk to Hazel. I'm not going to just sit back here and lay down again, Ugh. My grandfather trained cops in Bronx.
So after you're done talking to Hazel, you're okay to leave.
What's this guy's name? Little. How you doing, man? You feel like it got to his head a little bit? Hopefully AI can go over body cam footage, and eventually it can come up with like papers and thesis on how cops get so corrupted that they lose any sense of humanity and they just get so quick to violence. That guy obviously had a personal issue with me he was trying to take out. Okay, guys. Oh, fuck. Who are they threatening to tow? Look, they brought a tow truck in case I had a car here. This is them playing, this is their second game. Because all they want to do is see me suffer. So if you go back, I just jab this point. What's up? How you doing?
Good. Let me get me.
Sorry. Those guys have violent. What's up?
Hey. There's some sweet bananas. You look freezing. You know how many roses I get to.
I just want to sit down for a second and wait for them to leave, if that's okay. Okay.
It's so freaking cold out. Can I heat you up a meal or
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll
do
take
you
it.
do you want coffee or hot cocoa?
Sure.
Which one?
Hot, hot cocoa.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff in here. Shepherd's pie or chicken bigsy or chicken. Want Minnesota chicken casserole, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
People like the
I don't want.
usually
I don't want shepherd's pie. I'll take that.
this is usually that's usually.
Okay. So sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it was disrespectful of me to stay here. I get it.
Well,
The thing is, I'm sick. Like I went to Montpelier and talked to a bunch of people on State Street about what these guys have been doing.
Yeah.
And I have a fever.
you have a fever?
Yeah. Like I don't want to get close to you, but I just wanted to sleep with the heater.
Yeah.
I wanted to get and I'm glad I did because I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And then 7 o'clock ran around, and then there were people in the parking lot. And I said, as long as I don't move, maybe.
That's the catch-22 that the preschool is here, so they have to have like, they have to be more strict. And then we rent the property, so Menashe owns the property, so they're more like. But I'm glad that you're warm and safe. Let me go warm this up.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay. How'd I do? It was the woman's tone. The funny part is I don't know their protocols, but I know that they don't know their protocols. So sometimes I'll just throw shots in the dark to see what they'll do. But that guy needs to get off the force. Marco is the senior patrol officer because his father is the chief of police. Marco does not like his job. I think he hates his father. He's done things that I think I would consider out of line. He started acting like a snotty little brat. So how do we do, guys? Well, even though it happened this way, I really needed that rest with the heater. I feel like I got sick. All right. What do you think those guys are out doing? Okay. I'll sit here.
Hi, Casey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm all right. I have a fever.
Do you have a fever?
Yeah, so I don't want to get you sick.
I'm all right. You got a doctor?
Do I have a doctor?
No. No.
No.
How about health insurance?
I have Medicaid.
You do? Good.
Does it end at 20? I'm 25 now. Does it end at 24?
I think you can have it while you're 25.
Okay.
But I don't remember. I'm 31 now, so I forget. It's been a while.
You look 22.
Oh, thanks.
Like I thought you were younger than me.
Oh, thank you. My gray hair doesn't say so.
I'm not gassing you up. I can't see it.
Thank you.
Did you hear about what happened?
Yeah, I saw it out my window.
You saw it out your window.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the guy with the beard was a little bit too hostile, or do you think that he?
I couldn't see her. Like I could see, but I couldn't hear.
Okay.
So I don't know.
At one point, they started like. Okay, I won't bother you.
No, you're okay. I just said open the door. You can keep talking.
Okay. The guy with the beard has been.
Hi, can I help you? Oh, coming in.
Okay.
Ooh, that ZD's frozen solid.
Huh?
That ZD's frozen solid.
All right, go ahead.
When I first got here, I had permission to be at places because I would go live on YouTube at night and talk to people. And I know if you're not committing a crime, you don't have to listen to what the cops say. Like, the lawful orders are for if they suspect you of committing a crime. It's called reasonable, articulable suspicion, or probable cause. If they have reason to believe you're committing a crime, then they can detain you, and then they ask for your ID that you can present to them. What cops will do, because it's for some reason they get very power hungry, is there's something I don't fully know how to articulate yet, but they like to take the so you can just refuse if there's no reason for him to, if there's no crime, you don't have to listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that, and some cops are fine with it. They're like, I get that. I wouldn't want to be harassed. And then some cops, the ones that really need that, it's like, I guess I would say power hungry, they go off the handle. It's like some tick in a lot of people's brains. So I did that with one of the cops where I said, you know, you don't have RAS. I have permission to be here. If you'd like to talk to the supervisor that gave me permission to be at this building, she'll be here in an hour. Which is when I asked, you weren't, no, Katrina was here, I think. I asked for his supervisor because that's why he said, I have it on recording. He said, he'll be here in an hour. That's because I said that my supervisor would be there in an hour when he illegally trespassed me because I stood up for my rights. So I have him like, it didn't get that violent, but it's still like he was aggressive. He was like staring me down, really angry, like the dark eyes, like just dead staring me, like, and that's not, no cop should be doing that, especially for this.
So
He's so smart. When he talks, he uses words they don't understand, and then they feel stupid, and then they get mad.
yeah.
Thank you.
So
I'm
I
autistic.
want to talk about the doctors. Do you need help getting set up with one, or do you want one?
I know my issue really, I think I definitely have PTSD.
First.
It seems like as long as I'm out where I'm safe, like I know nobody's gonna bother me, and I'm out in like a big open area like the forest, I don't have any mental illness at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything works fine. I just create stuff, I make music, I'm writing a book,
Sounds like some
Right.
pretty good medicine, huh?
right? But then when I go around other people, and it's not animals, it's just people now.
Mhm.
My brain kind of gets wonky. I think I'm always trying to find a way to act in society. Like I don't know the right way to be a person.
Very frustrating.
Right? When I take Adderall, for like the first 4 hours of the Adderall, I'm like a force of nature. Everything I say is funny. I'm like the life of the party.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm overbearing. It's like I finally am able to take control of my brain and like actually be somebody instead of like this.
It's because Adderall's doing a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've tried I had shorter hair. I used to drive a Dodge Magnum. I had Tim boots instead of this, and I've got a neck tattoo and tattoos. And I'm from Brattleboro. Every time I went to a primary care physician and asked for Adderall, they wouldn't give it to me at all.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you a secret. We have a pretty amazing healthcare team here at Lamoille Health Partners.
Mhm.
And they work with a lot of our clients, and they do a pretty great job. And they don't just assume things. They listen to their patients. So I would be interested in getting you hooked up with a doctor over there if you are.
Is that Lamoille County Mental Health?
No.
Okay.
So it's Lamoille County, or it's Lamoille Health Partners. It's a
Okay.
doctor's office. And they even have showers for people who are able to take showers downstairs. It's a really nice area. I've seen it. So if you even wanted to take a shower, you could make an appointment to take a shower. They really take care of
Mhm.
our people, you know. So if that's something you're
Yeah.
interested in, I can send something over for you.
Is
I know
it?
you did say you had a fever.
Yeah, I'm trying not to cough.
Yeah,
I don't feel it right now
yeah,
because I rested for a couple hours.
yeah, good.
That's why. That's all. I was just here because it was the heat. I could run the heater.
So if you're interested in, you know, seeing somebody for your fever or just in general to talk about how you may be feeling or your thoughts, opinions, or concerns, then I'll send a referral over for you, okay?
Is it in town?
Yeah, yep.
I know where Cumbies is.
Yeah, so you go straight up past Cumbies.
Towards the school.
Nope, the other way. So like if you're at the four-way, like you're by the Bijou, right?
You see Bijou? Yeah, then you go up
around
towards
that
Cumbies.
corner
Thank
and
you.
you go straight up. You come to the four-way and
Mm-hmm.
then you go across the street straight up that road to the
So
to the
past
stop sign.
past Cumbies,
Mhm.
and then the dam is this way, and school is that way. So you just keep going down that road. So Bijou's, and then you go up the hill, and then
Can I draw
Cumbies.
you a map?
Sure. I know where Bijou's is. I know where Cumbies
Do me a
is.
huge favor.
I know.
My drawing skills aren't the best, but I'm gonna try.
You're good.
You know Maple Street, right?
I don't know the name.
I don't know. I know where the Bijou's is, and then you go up the hill, and then straight ahead is Cumbies.
Oh, sorry.
On the
about
right
that.
is the dam, and that road towards Maple Fields, and then on the left there, I think there's a school up the big hill, and there's a library. So I think she means straight past Cumbies.
Yeah. You
Okay.
Go straight past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Past Cumbies, and then when you hit the cemetery, bang left, and you can't miss it.
Okay. Not the cemetery that's by the library.
No,
Okay.
like if you walk, it'll leave Cumbies behind you, like that way. Have a good day. You also, thank you.
They trespassed me from that
Where?
the graveyard by the library.
Mm.
I was sitting at the library. Somebody called me names because I was sitting out there on my phone one Sunday morning. It was like a bunch of old people that were laughing at me because I was laying on a tarp. So I was like, I guess this isn't, I might be bothering them. So I moved over to the graveyard.
Okay, so this is the gas station in the Bijou.
Yeah.
And you just go around that corner, straight up to the stop sign. And then you go straight across. See the school and library are over here. Cumbies is right, just go right past. Stop here, take a left. Doctor's here, hospital there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I told you I'm
I
not
guess.
good at
No, I got you. I
drawing.
know where it is. I got
Okay. We can also give you the address and you can put it in your phone.
you. I just thought of that too. I didn't think of that at first.
So if you did want to do that, I can't promise it would be today. But I can promise that they're pretty amazing people.
Okay.
And if you wanted to, somebody could go to your appointment with you. If that would make you feel better.
I mean, a ride to the appointment would be cool.
We can't get
Yeah.
rides, unfortunately. But you know, you do have Medicaid, and I think that RCT could bring you.
Mhm.
Right? Hey, Hazel?
What?
RCT could bring you to the doctors?
Oh, yeah.
I also can't promise it would be today that you'd get in, but we could definitely take the steps if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay?
What did you guys? Was it an RV repair program or was it an RV program?
We don't have that.
That'd be cool.
Unfortunately, I think we did like during COVID, just so people have a place to live, like a shelter.
Mhm.
But we don't do those anymore.
I mean, I think it's at Walmart. One of those skill saws, the circular saws, are $80. A drill is probably $80. I don't know how much screws are, or the drill bit to do that, but I figured there's a lot of places that have pallets. I could draw up a lanyard, or not a lanyard, but like a trifold laminated with instructions on how to build a rickshaw.
About bringing building up like a shelter for yourself.
No, like if people come in here, the only real way to go from here, once they, because I mean, I came from Randolph and I got here, and there's nowhere else to go unless you want to go to Burlington. A lot of people want to go up to Newport and they can't.
I assume.
But if you had like a rickshaw where you can sleep in the back and it's a closed shelter made of pallets, and then with your tarps and tents, you can put the tent inside. That's enough to keep you warm. It's
My
also
problem is like, where do you put that? You know, because a lot of the problem is like the police will remove you from a lot of areas because you can't just camp anywhere. So that's the problem.
I figured it'd
Because
be
we fight all the time
Yeah.
for like places, for public places for fines to be. But so that would be like, that's a really good idea though. It's a really great idea.
it's the only way up the rail trail. The only way up the rail trail
It's
is either to put it all in a backpack, like all the tarps and everything you got with you to survive out there, and then trying to haul that on your back and then walk 10 miles to Johnson.
Yeah, we have people getting kicked off the rail trail all the time.
Yeah, and they don't tell you the property. They don't give you a map of the property lines because they want you to. If you go back to the rail trail, then you go right to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So if you're interested in what we talked about,
Yeah.
let Hazel know, and I'll send that referral over to Carrie, okay?
Sure.
But just let her know, and then she'll let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll see you in a bit. I've gotta go for a while.
Nobody likes my rickshaw idea.
That's exactly.
She's not here, buddy. Okay, you wanna put this? So you can put this on.
Hello, you guys.
Hello.
They created an unsafe environment and didn't give me any room to move. Once they realized that I was of sound mind
Ready, Chris?
and I was not in distress, they maintained that distance. They were aggressively stomping and kicking my wagon a couple times. One of them's tone got aggressive. And when I shared with him that his behavior to anyone with common sense would seem excessive, and that it might be seen as him trying to stir my mental illness to try to coerce a crime, like me just blatantly refusing because I don't want to cooperate with somebody that talks to me like that, which gave him what he was looking for. He was looking for me to refuse so that he could put his hands on me. That's why he started getting itchy. He had a need for violence. I'm sure they could have arrested me today. I'm born in the year of the cat. So I caught him and played with it. Clipped. Hey Hazel, how did you know I was there?
I didn't know you were there. Somebody, I think, one of the preschool teachers or something saw and then called somebody, called the big boss, or then called. It was like a whole series of.
Yeah. No, there was a kid that was trying to get my attention through the window. He saw me move and started knocking a lot. I just figured you knew it was me. It would make its way over here, and then you would be like, yo, you got caught. Get out of here. And I'd be like, I'm sick, but okay, sorry. But I get it's disrespectful.
Well, I didn't even know you were there until
Yeah.
like communication. Oh, he said the big boss at that office called because someone called her. That
Mhm.
if I had known before, then I would have been like, yo, they calling the popo.
Basically, the cops got aggressive, and then Katrina joined in. So she was treating me like they were like a. It seems like I can show you the video after this, but I don't know the right words to put it. To me, it just seems a little evil. That's how I would put it.
She literally cried after because she felt bad. She doesn't want to have to kick you off. She cares about
Okay.
you. So she's like the boss, so she has to do the work. And like she got yelled at.
Who? The cops?
Like the big boss. Like
Okay.
you can't have people trespassing. You know, people who don't understand.
Was it the property manager or was it the director of Capstone? Okay. Okay.
So she feels bad. She literally cried. She's like, I have to go. And then she came back in. She feels really
Okay.
The cops might be evil, but she's just
I don't think she's evil. I just
she's
didn't.
just trying to do her job, but she feels terrible.
Yeah. I said, she was shaking pretty bad. I just didn't like the tone. I didn't like the tone she used, like the aggression. So I'm sure she was stressed out about somebody else. So that was keeping it from me. I got you. But
She was upset because she got really in trouble.
okay.
They
Yeah.
were like, why aren't you helping me? She was like, I'll love to help you. So, yeah, no, she cares. You're probably with anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I said maybe.
Guilt.
Yeah.
She feels bad because
She was shaking pretty bad. I said maybe you should stay outside long enough that you can learn how to be outside if this cold is really getting to you. And she walked away. But I was more. I'll show you after. I'm just going to an hour to see who pops in. I just got enough donations for a second phone. So if the phone is charged. I don't know what you're allowed to. I don't think I have Wi-Fi here.
yeah,
Oh.
that's the password. That's on the wall. Capstone G1.
Okay. Is it Lemoy Guest?
Mhm.
Okay. What they're doing, have you ever been to Brattleboro?
Mm-mm.
What they do in Brattleboro, because Brattleboro's, I'm sure you've heard about it, like Brattleboro's really bad.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Planet Hank, who I guess he was a veteran, but now he's just kind of, I don't know what he does exactly, but he likes to show cops. So he's making a lot of money by listening to the scanner and then showing up with a nice camera setup and recording them. But for the past couple years, I don't know how long he's been doing it, the past year, I'm seeing videos of the cops that really like to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So they use excessive force all the time. They put on shows. Like the last video I saw, there was one guy that was about 5'5" and he was really skinny that was on drugs in his car. I don't know if he was driving or I think he was just in a parking lot on drugs in the car. Somehow they got him out of the car. There were 6 of them for one guy. So 6 cops descended on this one guy. They didn't tell him why he was being arrested. They didn't tell him. They made him do the breathalyzer, even though they already said you're getting arrested. While he was distracted with the breathalyzer, one cop said, "Hey, look over there." And then he yanked the arm like that. And the guy was like, "What the fuck?" Because they know that people that are on drugs that have mental illness are going to respond with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So they know that. They did that. He responded like anyone did, like they did to me 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, where they don't say anything. They play games to try to make you react so that resisting arrest forces what would normally be just a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that, and then they all picked him up, all 6 of them, and then they just body slammed them all together and put like 1,000 pounds of pressure right onto the guy's face. And then Planet Hank made a lot of money from that.
So unnecessary.
Yeah. So that was just what I was going to show you if you wanted to see it, but I don't know. But it's just nobody talks about that cops do that. It seems like everybody really respects authority and believes that, or they just lie.
There seems just to be like very little oversight in Vermont. Like, what do you like? There's not a strong person to go to be like, there's consistent abuse of power on this police force.
The supervisor's coercing sexual bribes for bogus charges here. Like the supervisor, that if they called, he refused the supervisor. If he had called his supervisor, that guy is the one that's getting in trouble for trying to get blowjobs from homeless women. And I've asked 4 people and they don't know each other. If I'm like at McDonald's or I meet a straggler or I'm at the bus station or something, I'll be like, hey, what do you know about Morristown? And then they all bring up this one cop has tried to get them to do that to him. So I don't know what to do, but I think the best thing is that we have people that want to be politicians, and stories about exposing corruption really help politicians in their narrative they're trying to play for the public.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least if I have enough evidence, it'll look like a stepping stool for them and they'll take it.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no real way to do anything with politics. It's all a game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone buys their way into positions of power.
What's cool, I told you that what happened with Phil Scott, and he called me slurs for indigenous. Like, he called me an engine, and he didn't. Okay. I was in Randolph. My car broke down. I was walking around trying to get a job. I was looking up cryptocurrency on the internet. I was looking up tons of stuff from a 24-hour laundromat last winter. So it was in Randolph. It was like -5 all the time. I was in this 24-hour laundromat I had like $300. I spent it all in 2 weeks just buying little sodas and showing the camera because I didn't want anyone to call the police. Then I would walk around during the day. I had nowhere to sleep. I had like old men, like 60s, that would see me from their trailer broken down in the park and just an abandoned, my car broke down. They would put on their whole military uniform. They would get all their friends to put on their whole military uniform, and they would just show up at the park and stomp around looking at me with disapproval. Like I'm like a junkie that needs to get eradicated from society. So I caught them following me around a lot. Eventually I pulled up, there's a daycare, and then there's, speaking of like domestic violence, there's a shelter for women fleeing domestic violence. That's above that. So now back then I'm just figuring this out right now. I used to think that guy probably beat his wife, and that's why there was a couple that lived there, but now I know that's probably the only way to get housing in the winter if you're homeless. So I don't think he beat his wife anymore, but I was saying that a while because they were both in a shelter for domestic violence. But he came out and told me he owned the property, and it was a church connected to a daycare. It was like 6 o'clock at night. Nobody was there. I was playing basketball and writing songs. He showed up and tried to press me, and it didn't work. And then he threw a temper tantrum, and then I recorded it. And later that night, he came back, and his wife came in first because they got in a fight. So his wife came in. I hugged her. I gave her a vape. She left. He came in with a baton, told me he runs the town, and that I need to leave. And I said, I just met the cops in the Chamber of Commerce. They don't know you. Right before he left, he heard me hit the record button on my phone, so he stopped. Yeah, it's a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a TV show. Yo, how you doing?
Hi. I'm just letting her know you were here.
Oh, thank you.
What's up, man? I'm good. But basically, he came at me with the baton. I had a hatchet. So I got him a couple times. We had fought for the hatchet. I had to whip him over my shoulder, and I got a couple of his ribs. He ran out, called the state police, and they tried to get me charged with it. I had the recording on my phone, so I was able to say, like, if you try to charge me, it's
Mhm.
right here.
Yeah.
So then they just left it alone. But after that, everywhere I went, I got trespassed from the entire town. People were spreading rumors about me everywhere. So there was like tons of random people showing up for stories that weren't true because it spread. But Casey at Capstone and Michael at the Clara Martin Center really helped. And then there was a guy named Michael Casey O'Brien that was going around causing a lot of problems. So I was getting they thought that I was that Casey. So I was trying to like not only was I trespassed, but I was getting, they're calling the cops because when I would go to buy cigarettes, it said Casey O'Brien. So they were trying to get me with him. I wound up going up the big hill towards the state college, and I lived at that park and ride. Tons of people were overdosing. A woman just walked up into the state police had just sexually abused her, and she wants to go home. And she was crying. The cops had already, like, someone at the gas station said I threatened to kill him with a hatchet. I didn't even have the hatchet on me. So the cop showed up and tried to search me. I pulled the phone out and said, you can't do that. I'm going to call every department in Vermont until someone listens.
Yeah.
If you try to violate my rights here. Then they stole something out of my car. I had a machete in the car. They took the machete. And my hatchet went missing at some point. And they wouldn't leave. They like grabbed the trespass notice like that, and they whipped it at the car. Eventually I moved into the woods, and I lived in a shack, and a family of robins made a nest above my tent.
Oh.
I think, yeah, right? It was really cool. I saw
Cool.
I saw tons of crazy stuff out there. But I learned indigenous stuff. I learned indigenous music. I learned how to throat sing. I lived out in the woods, and it was one of the best times of my life, I think. But eventually, I went up to the state college to see if I'd like it, or to meet kids, or to see what's there. It was the summertime, so nobody was there. I was singing, like, hey, walking around. Security shows up and says that Phil Scott saw me. The governor was there and heard me singing and texted the group chat, why is this person squawking on our property? So the guy that showed up was Navajo. They trespassed me. I was like, whatever. I stayed at the graveyard for a couple months because there was a black bear that was getting into my stuff. So I didn't want to, I moved further up. Eventually, because to get into town, you had to walk like 2.5 miles. But eventually it was warm enough that I would go in the mornings. And I used to carry like chairs and furniture up that 2 miles up that big hill. So I was doing that for a while, going into town, but it was still really hostile and nobody would hire me. I applied everywhere. And eventually a guy named Ray down at Rumor Has It, which is a thrift store, but it's like Michael Casey O'Brien caused a disturbance in the town. Then Casey at Capstone and Michael at Clara Martin Center helped Casey O'Brien get through what Michael Casey caused. And then I'm making an album called Bearcat. I'm trying to save up money to buy a bearskin rug to wear as a costume to like go to war against Vermont for like content. You go into Rumor Has It and there's a bearskin rug coat just hanging there. And there's a guy named Ray that helped me get through the rest.
Nice.
Somebody was going to buy my car. I called the cops and said, hey, thank you for not taking my car for 6 months and letting it be there. I didn't intend to be here this long, but it's just been a lot of trauma and a lot of crazy stuff's happening. It's been stressful. I've been applying. They knew I'd been applying at jobs. I'm sure they got tons of calls where I didn't know about that they dismissed them. Like, I'm sure tons of people called and they were like, no, we've heard about this guy. He's not doing anything. It's just rumors. But as soon as I told him, hey, I'm going to get like $350 for this car, as long as the catalytic converters are still on it, it'll be gone by Monday. Thank you so much. Sorry to bother you. Goodbye. State police towed the car that day for themselves. And they didn't return my calls for, it's been like 6 months. We got them once because Casey at Capstone called them and they answered that Casey. And then they were going to bring it to me. They were going to give it back for free, and then they just didn't. So I lost like $4,000 worth of stuff.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Then we had the tornado and the hurricane. Remember, we had like the floods in Barrie, and there was a tornado warning. So I went over past over the state college down to the cemetery, and there was a little shack in the woods by some farmland that I stayed in until the flood was over. And then immediately afterwards, there was a guy waiting there that knew I was there. So he pulled up and said, like, I know you've been in here. You're trespassing. You're going to get arrested. So I left, and then the police waited for a weekend because if they pick you up on Friday, you're stuck there until Monday morning. So cops will purposefully wait on the arrest if they know where you are so that they can get you on Friday. And then when they get you, they try to force you to react and resist. So that's a second charge, and they get to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And then if you, even if you're cooperative, there was tons of things that I pointed out today that they tried. Just little stuff to try to emotionally abuse you, to force you to submit to their commanding presence.
Yeah.
So that happened. My lawyer on the phone, and he seems like every time he was always on my side. Like, I know these are bogus charges. I know they're doing way too much to you. But he still never emailed me my court date. So I never knew when I had court. It's still, I'm an adult. I could have emailed him and said, hey, you never tell me when court was. But I'm also, I don't know if I'm disabled. I don't know it's hard to be out here, but I was like, and all the other stuff that's happened since. So I made it through Montpelier all the way up to here. So I got here August 25th. So July 11th, I was picked up. So I spent a month in Montpelier. And then we had Marco try me, illegally trespassing me as a retaliation for me standing up for my rights, and then ignoring my supervision, or ignoring that I said I had a supervisor that will be here in an hour. And he pretends like he doesn't care, but when I asked for his supervisor, he said, oh, he'll be here in an hour. Like, I don't want to play games with this guy.
Yeah.
He's after me. But that's why I had the warrant that caused them to do that stuff. Because I didn't know I had court. And then my lawyer resigned after.
Oh, really?
I think he watched my video about what happened, and he felt a little responsible, even though it's still kind of my responsibility, even though I'm under different circumstances that would make it harder for me to function. It's still my job to talk to my lawyer, even though I didn't ask to be trespassed, and I didn't ask for the hurricane. I didn't ask for the police to do this to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have been calling you too, but
Yeah, the public defender, sometimes they get so overworked, so he probably realized he dropped the ball. Yeah, he probably felt bad. He probably was like, I can't do this anymore.
I mean, he was on my side, but then there was a cop I was making content about, the guy that supposedly sexually abused this woman that came up, the guy that tried to violate my rights by searching me illegally, and the guy, he would do donuts around. It wouldn't like do real donuts, but he would like swerve around my car when I was in there this winter. He got in trouble for beating and raping his wife. So
Mooresville Police?
South Royalton State Police. So, I mean, I told him so, and then there's this woman from Brazil that keeps trying to talk to me. She's been trying to. I think she wants a green card, man. She says, "Please," every day. She says, "Please talk to me." Casey, talk you, please. I don't know her. What was I saying? After that, I think that that guy's public defender. Because after I said, if you're about the guy that did all that to me, that I was warning everybody about, that they were retaliating against me because I was calling them out for their behavior and holding them, scaring them because I had a small amount of, I had like 60 subscribers then. I have 500 now, which is cool. I don't really get much in donations, but and these guys suck. I have like 4 or 5 that I like, and then the rest is just everywhere I go, they're like putting my address. They're I asked them to like the video, and then all of them stop. They take all the likes away and stuff like that. But I'm still living in their head rent free.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, yeah, I don't know what else. Do you think it'd even be worth it if I built a wagon and then built instructions on how to build a rickshaw for you to sleep in? And then I left you guys tools like a saw and a hammer?
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Do you think people like, I figure there's going to be a lot of people wandering. Have you guys had illegal immigrants show up yet? That like,
We've had some. There hasn't been a tremendous amount. There's other, because I think there's other agencies that are a little more geared towards immigration.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. It seems like more of like a summer activity. Like I can't see people outside building things
you can't even go.
in this weather, but
Um,
it's a great idea.
yeah. Do you know anybody at RCT? Like,
Not personally.
it's a favor to, if I wanted them to load all my stuff into a car and take me to Johnson.
They go to Johnson now.
They do?
Mhm.
Did they not this summer?
They just started.
Okay,
Yeah, I think they started in the summer. So.
okay. When I went, they wouldn't take me to Johnson.
They do. We're trying to go down Railroad Street.
Okay. No, there's a food shelf there.
Yeah, it's on Railroad. Yeah.
I've only been to the park. So I went right to the park and charged my phone in October. And then it was just too many people that came out of their house just to give me a dirty look and cough and like stomp around. And I had a nicer coat than I'm wearing now. My hair was still bad, and I was on a bike, no backpack. So I looked like probably the average college kid there. And for them to me, that seems like mental illness. Like the way they're acting seems not healthy.
From what I've heard, there's a lot of drug use on that street. So it might have been a lot of people who were just like suspicious in general. And just,
Okay. I mean, I'm just afraid of white people lying to weaponize police that are trained in loopholes.
I get
Yeah.
that.
Well,
There's a food shelf over here too, right?
I wanted to volunteer there, and then at night I would pull up the wagon to that awning at the Johnson Park, and then I thought maybe that food shelf might have an outlet, and then that would give me room to go work at the Dollar General up there, because no one has. I think I've been from August to now. It's been almost 5 months, and no one, not even the dollar stores, hired me. Like I've tried there's a guy here that works at McDonald's. He's in here. They have not hired me. They hired like 6 other people while I
Do you have felonies?
I don't know.
No, you would know because you would have gone to court. You would have been said.
Yeah.
That's,
No, you'd have to go to jail to get a felony, right?
yeah, you would know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would know if you have.
I don't have any
That
felonies.
doesn't make any sense. Have you ever
Um,
worked with Higher Ability? They help.
Yeah, a
you
couple
out?
times.
Yeah. Okay. Were they helpful at all?
No. But I also back then I couldn't function around people. I was too much like a raccoon. So I said, I cannot go there and stand in place and then pretend all day, like the fake conversations where you
Yeah.
have to put on a show.
Yeah.
I'm just not ready for that. So I said, if you guys have I used to return cans and I would study crypto. When I was in that laundromat, at the end of it, I made $2,500 starting from nothing. And then I got $3 in cans and I turned that into 30. And then I got a 250 donation. I turned into 2,500 and then
Really?
my computer fried.
That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
It's just,
Oh,
I don't know if crypto's still here. That was how I wanted to help people is, so they have this currency that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So these have no value.
Yeah.
But if thousands of people all put money into these, they become really valuable.
Right. Yeah.
The more valuable these look, the more that people that are billionaires that need a way to launder money to legitimize some of their illegal wealth.
I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's-
a huge part. Of it.
That's why they do it. They throw. Then
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Sorry.
You're good. I'm sick. I don't know if I'm smart or if I'm a narcissist. in a homeless outreach program. I was sleeping at because I'm sick, so I wanted to run the heater, and I just wanted to sleep for a couple hours, and then it packed up really quickly, so I didn't want to move because I was still sick. So I'm like, at least I know if I pass out, I'm gonna rest for a couple hours, and then they called the cops. Yeah, but it's just in the future. I mean, if you have a nice computer, they have groups where people that do this for, and I know a 16-year-old that's at like 350K. I know one kid that's a millionaire that had no money in January last year. It's just getting into the right areas so that you know before everyone's going to dump the money in to
Yeah.
put your money in and then pull out before this third wave of advertising and then getting more kids to throw money in. And then the only money you make is taken from somebody else. That's all it is that you get in early, then you wait for somebody else to be stupid enough to throw their money in, and then you can take their money, and that's how you exit. So I've never
heard anyone explain it as well as you just explained it. That was, I mean, you're very
Yeah.
impressive. You're extremely articulate.
Thank you. People are convinced. My mom's convinced I'm schizophrenic. I don't think I'm schizophrenic. I don't hear voices. What it seems to me is that I spent so long in isolation because I grew up in isolation on a mountain by myself. And my dad's an enigma. He was like a ski bum at 17, became one of the best ski instructors in the state. They call him the Legend O'Brien. And I mean, like I look up, the people that made the English language and they made all these numbers, they didn't just make it for no reason. They believe that these are spells. Like that's why you have to learn your spelling. So they make these because you're casting spells. So the whole number and letter system is based off demonic sex magic. And that's why George Washington has dungeons under his mansions. That's why Ben Frank had hundreds and hundreds of children's bodies under his mansion, because they were taking indigenous women and children and they were doing stuff to them, and they built a whole system around it.
And the slaves too.
And the slaves, and a lot of the slaves were like a lot of the tribes that were here had just as dark skin as Africa. So a lot of people think that the slave ships never existed and they just took the culture away from the indigenous tribe that was here. But I wasn't around. You know. What was they say? But they say that the system in place that gives us the ability to dream and daydream and feel emotions and experience life is the Hopi call it the golden spiral. Do you mind if I use one of these?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So if you've seen like the snail shell or this symbol, like that's where the golden ratio.
Oh yeah.
They say that as above, so below, as within, so without, so that the part of you that's imagining that when you sit and daydream, your imagination is you, and it's just a level that you chose not to be, your soul chose not to be fully enmeshed with, so that you could experience life like this. And the reason that, because you can imagine moving this, but that that didn't, like I can imagine moving this over here, but it didn't move. The fact that we can move this here, that's all this life is. So that when they say karma, and it's all it is that in this realm we can do actions and we can go places, and we're limited by time. Like that's the only thing that separates us from the dream world, is that we have time that separates us, or else we could fly everywhere. And I could imagine myself in Randolph and I would be in Randolph. So that's the 666 of the devil, is like 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, in 6-hour cycles. And that's peasants used to work for 6 hours. But I just went down that road, and then I figured out that like our birthdays, the traits that the old numerologists said that we would have based off of our birthdays and our astrological signs and the name that we wound up with, if you look at it from a greater perspective, so if you zoom out at like the overarching narrative of your life to find your themes of like, I keep saying I love the color purple, or I keep seeing gorillas, or everywhere I go I meet somebody named Sean that always takes me somewhere that something big happens. and then Sean is Irish and I'm Irish, so like those themes and motifs structure the narrative of your life. And then the narrative itself, that's what they say is your higher part of you, that you're an actor living out a movie that you created. So when you're like living in isolation, when you're like really present to the moment and trying to figure out how to control your, like, that's why Kanye was screaming that he wants to take control of his narrative and that they have him locked in the Kardashian world and he's trying to get out, but they've stuck him and he can't. He's signed himself in perpetuity throughout the universe on paper. So he said that the Satanist organization took it from him. And that's what Dave Chappelle said and all the Hollywood people. So they took his ability to create from him so that he's no longer able to do his soul's mission. Like he made a beautiful story for himself, but because he signed himself to the industry, he got tempted and he ruined his entire life. Which is, but basically, like, my dad's a Leo, the heart, it's fire. His moon is a Libra, which is air, balance. So it's all around the core. His name's Gary, which means a mighty spear. O'Brien just means exalted on a glowing hill with a high authority. So like a shining light, like a king of the hill type, like Ed Sheeran's Castle on the Hill. That feels like O'Brien to me. So my dad means a mighty spear, and both of our middle names are Francis. So a free, mighty spear from a glowing mountain where we have authority, exalted. So placed away from the group with some type of overarching authority. So my dad became the best ski instructor in the state, where he's shooting down like a free spear is like a javelin to me. So he's like launching himself down the mountain like a free spear in the mountain itself. So if you look back at every photo of my dad that I have, there's a giant mountain behind him. So I can see the symbolism there. And if you go in mine, he's a fire air, Leo Libra. I'm Sagittarius Aquarius. So I'm fire air, but I deal with like, instead of this like nice balanced heart, simple, not overreacting at everything, Sagittarians and Leo and Libra are both stagnant. They don't move around a lot, and my dad never really left the mountain. Sagittarius doesn't stay in place at all. It's like the phoenix. It's constantly moving, constantly changing, based off of creative passion towards something. So I'm always trying to go somewhere and do something. And my moon's in Aquarius, which is it's the highest dimension. It's what we're moving into, supposedly, like the age. Yeah,
An Aquarius.
you're an Aquarius. That's what I'm saying. And you have the blue eyes of the Aquarius is blue. So they deal with like, it's an air sign. It sort of means like the stuff in relationships, the stuff that you would daydream about, and like when you care about somebody else, you see it more as like an overarching story of their life and like the direction they're going, what they're feeling, how they're doing this. But you see it from like a third person perspective, almost like they're a little bubble in your mind, and there's like tons of little bubbles that stack up with the big thing. And that's how, I mean, they're saying that we're able to live stories like this because the Aquarius are dreaming it, and then because the Pisces believe in it, that adds the supercharge. The point is that Aquarius is like this big expansive, so in the moon sign, it would be like, instead of having a mountain behind me of the balance like my dad has, it would just be this big wide open space. My car, I lost my bumper to my car on Casey Road in, I think, somewhere around Pittsford. I left Killington and I wound up at the state park in western Vermont. It's just a small random town. And then there was a state park where I slept at for the night. I woke up, drove up the road, and there's Casey Road. So I took it, and there's only 2 houses that goes all the way up to the top, and then there's 2 houses. One of them on the left is a small little red house, like a little red Vermont shack. But there's a giant mountain view behind it of just one big mountain that looks exactly like every photo that I have of my dad. And then next to it, in that red is like Leo the red. And then next to it, there's a giant green mansion, flat with this heart-shaped roof. And behind it is like 100-mile view of Vermont. And I'm like, I got this.
Oh, that's cool.
right? Have you ever been to Killington?
No.
There's a restaurant called Casey's Caboose there. And if you go in, there's an indigenous war chief with a headdress,
Oh, yeah.
and he's exactly as tall as I am, and he was standing the way that I stand. So when I went in and stood there waiting in line to get a drink. I look over and there's a statue right next to me that looks just like me there. And the other thing is, like, my dad's born on the 10th, and he's a 3 life path. So the 10th is like it's the leader of all the other. So 1 to 9, and then 10 is the leader of all of them, and then you move on to 11, and then it becomes so much higher because of the golden spiral. It's at such a higher level that your soul's life purpose is really challenging and different, and you can't just do normal things. And then 22 and 33, and that's why there's 33 degrees in Freemasonry. That's why Jesus died at 33. That's why there's 33 vertebrae in the spine, because it's all a system for us to do this according to the people that built the country, like according to the people that made the police. That's what they believe, and they believe that they can take that and use that for their advantage. And that's why they made the indigenous boarding schools that later became DCF. It's like, I know tons of people where their children were taken wrongfully, and I didn't know why, and now I know that. Like, I look at them and I see, like, every girl that was taken wrongfully from their parents was very attractive, in my opinion, now that they're 18. But
That's definitely
Yeah.
a real thing that happens. It's horrifying.
so and then I'll stop. This is I've been talking like this. This is me when I talk my whole life. I would do this to therapists for hours. So he's a 3 life path born on the 10th. I'm a 33 life path born on the 11th. So I'm the master number version of what he's doing. And I'm the exponentially more, like the Sagittarius Aquarius is like a higher, denser form of energy that's always moving. And his is more of this stagnant, in place, simple. So it's like he made a life for himself, and then I'm the exponentially greater version. Like, he's the original spiral, and then I'm the greater overarching sense of what he's doing. And the only way that I can really function, like, I seem to be calm. I think I handled that police interaction really well. It's because of what my dad taught me, just how to exist. Like, my dad has a lot of trauma. I never really spent a lot of time with him, but just, I'm like an empath, so I can pick it up really easily.
Yeah.
So just the way that he handles himself in life gets me through this, like, it stops me from being this, like, overwhelming sense.
Mhm.
So it's like, sort of like yin and yang. Fire, air, and then 3, 33, 10, 11. And then we're both named, I don't know my grandfather and great-grandfather's birthday, but great-grandfather trained messenger pigeons and dogs for World War II, I think.
That's so cool.
Right? My dad said that he was so good at what he did that people would go across the country when they first made cars, and it was really expensive to do. They would drive from, like, Arizona to New York City to pick him up and take him to the shows to judge dogs and stuff. My grandfather trained cops in Bronx, and my dad trained rich people's kids how to ski. And I don't know what I do. I think I just vent on the internet now. I want to show, maybe I can show you. I just want to show you how the cop looked at me. Because the whole point was, I'm not going to respond to lawful orders from somebody that's using it as a weapon to try to entrap me, that seemed to have an agenda that doesn't. Okay. This is why the 2 phones are goated. My phone is at 1%. My charge is out there. They're 100% watching. I was saying, don't talk to me like that. And they said, well, every situation is going to be different. I said, if you want, while we're here, we could run a couple drills on the polite way to make somebody feel safe. And I was trying to talk to you. So I didn't say the first thing I said was, can you get Hazel? Because I didn't like the way they were talking.
Let's go. We're not gonna play this game all day with you, Casey. You're not welcome here.
You're welcome here for food and stuff like that during the day. Casey, as you know, if you can't have you stay on property. In a shelter. What do you want to do? We're gonna have you go, or we're gonna help you get into shelter.
You want some help? You gotta talk to us, man.
And that was the nice cop.
Do you need a doctor?
To me, that felt like she was.
Your eyes are open. Hey, let's go. You can't be here. You're gonna get arrested if you keep this up.
She thought you weren't okay.
Is that what you want?
When you went out there, she said that she
I
thought
know
you
your
weren't
eyes
okay.
are open, you're
I think
breathing, you
that
can
she
hear me.
sounds nervous.
Let's
She
go.
wasn't happy.
Okay.
She's very
You
angry.
can't be here. You either go inside and get help, or you need to leave.
And she was just holding on because it was her job to tell you to move, but her heart didn't want to.
Do you need an ambulance?
Basically, I was just waiting for them to talk to me a different way than they were.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were talking at me. It seemed like, I don't know, when I talk to people, it's like, I guess I learned it from being out in the woods where it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to talk to somebody, it's just normal.
Yeah.
It just the way they do it doesn't seem right, and then the intuition's usually pretty good because then they start to get violent.
Mm-hmm.
So
They should be trying to de-escalate things instead
Yeah.
of immediately coming in hot. Like, it wasn't necessary to come over and be like, you're not welcome here. Like, that's not what anybody said.
that was that was the mean cop trying to throw
Yeah,
trying to
that
throw
was not what
jabs.
anyone said.
Do you need an ambulance? You need medical attention?
Are you born, Casey?
Come on, man.
I'm worried
Let's go.
about you, but come on.
Was this wagon already broken like this?
My phone died. He tried to accuse me of damaging your property because my wagon was broken. So one cop was looking for ways to hurt me. The other cop was trying to figure out why I wasn't talking. And from what I saw, Katrina kind of jumped into the angry cop's way. There was like two different ways that they were talking to me. One guy was like, something's weird here. The other guy was like, I don't have time for this. We're gonna either force you to leave. And then he started looking around for more things. And I can see exactly what I was looking for them to say, but I can't articulate it right. Oh yeah, okay. So the other guy, my fault. One of your property management, I think I told you, came over and said, "Are you all right in there?" And he waited in the parking lot, and he threw something away, and he turned and said, "Hey, are you okay in there?" And I was so scared of him, like calling the police or doing something. But then I realized, like, that's the first time anyone had ever talked to me like that in a long time. So I just opened up the thing and said, "Yeah, I'm just here running the heater. I should be going tomorrow. I came here to get stuff from Price Chopper, load it onto the wagon, and then I would leave. But then it was just too cold.
Mhm.
That's why I stayed. And then I left it here because I went to Montpelier yesterday. But what these guys did is they started I don't have their job, so I don't know. To me, it just seems pretty out there and crazy that they came up aggressive and they talked to me like super. I don't know how to put it. It just seems like any normal person would just kind of stay at a distance and be like, "Hey, we got a call about you. You got to go." What they did was like, I think they jumped at me.
Yeah.
They immediately like reached their arm in and started touching me. They started grabbing me, and then my eyes were open. The live stream was running. I was just sitting there. It's pretty obvious. I'm just sitting there. They could see themselves on the camera, and they still tried to make it seem like I had mental health issues, and they still played that whole game. When I have better words for it, I'll be able to say it, but I think that I keep wanting to go to a lack of compassion. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cops here really have no compassion for
Okay.
people who are living outside. Yeah, I told her because they were like, have you been telling people to camp by the river? And I'm like, well, where do you want them? They're just like, not in Morris.
Yeah.
You're just gonna kick out homeless people? Like, yeah, so they do have a prejudice and lack of compassion. They're like, oh, we don't have any year-round camping. Like, people aren't camping for fun. They're camping because they're homeless and, yeah, they don't have compassion.
But I get it. They do show up here and they do drugs and they commit crimes and they don't want to work. So their thing is like, oh, our grandparents worked really hard to build this and they don't want someone to come in and mess it up
Yeah.
and not contribute.
Of course,
But that's not every homeless person's situation.
Yeah.
Non-perishables. So,
Oh, great.
How you doing?
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
I said, how are you?
I'm okay.
You're good.
So thank you.
That was Little and Marco, those two cops. Marco has been aggressive with me. He's done things that we consider, a lot of people on the internet are considered violations of my rights, retaliatory. So
Okay, good luck.
you're good.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you. You're welcome.
If you noticed, he was saying stuff like, "You're not welcome here." When I asked for the supervisor, the whole thing was he trespassed me from somewhere I had permission to be at because I wasn't welcome here in town. So I don't think he even called anybody. He just issued me a trespass notice because the cops thought it was cool this summer to push everybody out. So they were like harassing and bullying people that were just sitting outside. I was the first one that really knew what I was talking about and knew how to stand up for myself. I know how to do an ID refusal. I know that he's a public servant and I'm not obligated to be harassed by someone that's got issues. So since then, that cop specifically has been caught following me around. He shows up at my tent and he just blares the siren and he'll just tap the siren for like sometimes up to a half an hour. So that you're not welcome there. And then you saw how close he was. And then he tried to get you to say that he was hoping that the wagon that I was sleeping on was yours. Because when he said, has this wagon always been this broken? He was hoping that you would say something like, oh, that wagon, no, it wasn't. And then that's a damage of property. He was looking for ways to hurt me. So I didn't want to cooperate with that because I said, I'm not obligated to be a part of whatever you have going on. You're not here for the right
I'm
reason.
honestly glad that you're okay.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I wasn't mad at you. It just seemed like at some point you started talking with the guy that was aggressive, like you were the hospital route and the.
No, I don't like the.
I figured I know the owner was very unhappy with you, and I know it's disrespectful to be here.
But I also know that you need to be okay.
Yeah.
Like we do get that.
Yeah. I just had a fever. I've been sick. The McDonald's didn't want me there because I think that guy works at McDonald's. I've been coughing a lot there. So they were, and I've been there. I would sit there for 12 hours a day sometimes. So they were starting to get mad. So I didn't want to go there. I had a fever. I didn't want to go out in the woods and get worse.
Right.
So I was like, if I just run the heater and I sleep for a couple hours, then you guys showed up. So I was like, fuck.
I didn't know that you were even under there, honestly.
That's what I was hoping,
So,
is that nobody would know.
it's just-
But there was a kid at the window that his head was like pressed against the window. Any movement at all. I just moved like my arm a little bit and he said, I knew it. And he slammed on the window. So that got me. I wasn't trying to stay here.
I know.
I'm just,
And I wish we lived in a world where it wasn't as big of a deal, you know?
I mean,
Do you ever go to the library in town during the day?
this summer they made it clear I wasn't welcome. I was out there with a tarp one morning. The ground was wet. I was laying on a tarp. I wasn't asleep, but I was just laying down. You know, there's an outlet by the heater and the picnic tables. So I had an extension cord out to the tarp. I was laying on the tarp. I had a lot more trauma I hadn't dealt with back then. So it was, you know, I was kind of rigid when I walked, and I was like super focused on stuff. So people could see that something might be off. A bunch of elderly guys came up and started calling me names and just talking bad about me and laughing at me and spitting at the ground when they walked by. So I figured, okay, even though it's Sunday and it is a library, my phone's charged. I'm gonna move my stuff over to the grave, and I just sat under that little bush on the other side of the fence because I could still get Wi-Fi. I would go on Wi-Fi so that I can live stream. Cop showed up pretty quickly, said that people called that I was there. I said, I'm in public. I'm not doing anything wrong. He tried to get my ID. I said, what crime do you accuse me of committing?
Yeah.
He didn't know. He pretended not to know what that was. What they want to do is take your ID, and then they take it to the car, and then they leave you like you're caught in a leash because they have your property, and then they hold it like that.
Yeah.
When their protocol is that all you have to do is show them the ID, and then they write it down. They take that as like a power move. They like to play with their catch and then figure out what they can do to them. So I knew that was happening. I did that. When you catch them, they get emotional and they get angry. So we got emotional and angry. That was another retaliatory trespass. The library's been better since, because I've gone a couple times, but it's still like, I just didn't want to risk it, and now it's cold. I don't want to go across town. I was planning on going there next. I like the Hyde Park Library a lot better.
Yep, they're good over there too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check in with Annie. Come on, we got some food in the belly.
She's still possessed. She pretends to care. Even if she's crying, whatever, there's something in her that's impatient, dismissive, hateful, and waiting to be called out. So they'll put on a show until you can figure out how to call them out. And then once you call them out, their true colors show. And hopefully you can catch that in this video earlier today. You know what I'm saying? Dropped a pen. What's cool? Remember I told you this was the symbol for the group of pedophiles that work for entertainment companies, which is the golden spiral but locked in the triangle. Then I was getting there, but sexual violence. And this is the Freemason symbol, like the baseball field. What's missing from this symbol to make it a Freemason symbol is the exact triangle that I'm talking about, which means they know about it. Let's see who this company is. It's Vermont. Down in Montpelier. It's tough. She's possessed.
Food shop is open today, 9 to 12.
Okay.
Tuesdays and Fridays, 9 to 12, Wednesdays, 4 to Oh, no, wait, today's Wednesday, so it's not open until 4. I thought it was Tuesday.
This food, the one here, or the one in Johnson?
Both Johnson and the one here are both in the afternoon.
Okay.
Wait,
Today's
today's Wednesday, so that's the
4 to
afternoon.
6.
They're closed on Wednesday,
okay.
but he can keep that if you want.
Do you mind if I get another pair of socks? Okay. You can tell by your body shape alone that she's an Aquarius. You've gone sick by following a path of untrammeled male dominance, attention to the visible surface of things. Yeah. Thank you.
The first one?
Yeah.
They're gonna see my talents. I'm gonna take you to the bathroom. You're probably right about they're mad that at the big words. When I get nervous, I use big words.
Me too.
Yeah.
If I'm mad and nervous, that's when I sound the smartest. Then I'm in a good mood, I sound like a 6-year-old.
I believe in astrology. It might be dorky, but every Aquarius I know is a really good writer.
I am a pretty
Yeah.
real
Probably. I bet you could make these a lot cooler. Probably more interesting to read, whatever these flyers are. Also, somebody in Montpelier yesterday, we had I don't know if she's illegal or not, but someone from Colombia that couldn't figure out how to get from Montpelier to New York City. And nobody really wanted to help her but me. Like, she was asking people. I think I told you, like, you're not from here, right? You're from New Jersey.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, do they do like where we're just having a normal conversation, but then they go like, oh, it's over there. They like point at you to go somewhere, like the white people point. Have you
Like in the middle of a conversation? Just
yeah. The white people point where they're like, you were talking like this, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I mean, it's over there. Like that dominance game, whatever.
There's a lot of that of white people in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I mean, and then a lot of people of color and
There
poor
were
people too, but
there are guys in that. You think they'd get really those guys? You think they get really mad if somebody's recording them? So there are people that are making a lot of money going around New England right now that have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers that just stand on sidewalks and film those guys. And then when they freak out, the cops show up and then they expose which cops are like Marco. And then if the cops do anything, they know exactly where the line is, and they're getting like 300 grand, 400 grand from the state. So I'm glad I went through it, but they were doing that to her. Like, she doesn't understand English. And they're going, yeah, look right there. And she's like, why are you talking to me like that?
yeah. Like they can't be bothered to actually help her. Just, yeah, go over there.
I know when they do it, if you just hold eye contact and you're like, really?
Yeah.
Is that how you really feel?
Right.
Then eventually they're like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But they tried that. A lot of people came in and said that there needs to be a capstone in Montpelier. There's really nothing to do out there.
Well, there's a battery.
What is this? There is one at Barry. Just 5 miles. I don't know if there's a bus route to there. Hold me close, don't fight the feeling. I'm in need of some good healing. Sha-na-na-na, yeah. Na-na-na-na, yeah. How could you not think that my hair is cool? You kidding me? I never see anything like this. It's not dreadlocks. It's not like crazy Einstein hair. It's cool. It frames my face cool. I want to show you guys. So this will be the first time in about 3 months that I'm going to change my socks and pull this off my shoe. So this is what we're rocking with. See, that's one giant blister, and then it's broken in the back. So it's glued to my foot, so it hurts to pull. I'm literally peeling it off like a layer of skin. Ow. The slime from the bottom of it is so viscous that I'm slipping on the ground. Yeah, boy. Okay. Should I just dip my foot in the toilet? I need a wash basin. I'm washing my feet. It smells like a play place. It smells like a McDonald's play place. Okay. The problem that I have is that they knew it was me, they knew I caused no problems, and they still did all of that. But it was because stupid women games. It was the teacher next door. Instead of talking to Capstone, they played stupid games to they called above Capstone to the next person. To get to the next person, they called like 2 superiors up to call the big boss. Instead of just going next door, because the buildings are connected. They can just walk into the next room and say, hey, there's a guy sleeping out there. To which they probably would have said, hopefully, that's Casey. He doesn't cause any problems. He's cool. It might actually be fun for the kids to hang out with him. You know what I'm saying? He has tons of cool stories. Okay, so I don't think I can get my foot. I'm not flexible enough to get my foot. Oh, yes, I am actually. Oh, shit. He said, "You're not welcome here." And then she went, "No, you're welcome here." It's almost like he's a possessed puppet. How's my muscles? Whoa. I don't stick to a diet and exercise routine, yet my muscles don't atrophy. It's almost like your muscles don't actually atrophy. These bodybuilders just live comfortable lifestyles outside of the gym. I think the privilege of white American society dilutes them into a disassociative state naturally, because they don't have the necessity of being grounded like you have to be in a city in order to function, where there's danger everywhere all the time. So because of that delusion, they hold on to these pretend MAGA stuff, morals, or whatever you call it. What is it called? It's not philosophy. And that what was keeping them from acting the way that I felt would be considered normal. Were you able to hear that kid crying in the other room for an hour? This is nice. I still have my personality because I'm not hopped up on a medication, trapped in a mental asylum. So the cycle is definitely over, and we're moving on to something else. But I still have my dignity, guys. They couldn't cart me off to a hospital this time. That's nice. All right. Goodbye, socks. Look, my nice coat has been destroyed. Okay. We're getting orange juice.
back in my office and talk?
About what?
What we talked about earlier? You wanna chit chat?
I don't. Is it like procedure? It has to be in your office to talk about.
No, we can go in the conference room if you want.
I don't know.
It's just easier in my office because I have my computer and my phone.
You're just talking about scheduling something down the road.
Yeah, so I want just to get your permission to talk to Lamoille Health Partners, maybe send them a referral, call Carrie, see if we can get you in. Do you want to even get a shower before, get established for the job?
I mean, the first, I have to call legal aid first. I'm trying to move up to Johnson, get a job up there. I don't know if there's any jobs. I know there's a Dollar General. I don't know what else is up there. I know as soon as I get up there, it's going to be hard to come back.
To
But
Johnson?
to here, but Hazel said that Hazel said there's a bus now.
There
Like,
is, yep.
okay, so I'm interested in that because I'll go up there right now. It's just I have a I don't know if you've seen it. I have a wagon.
Yep.
It's about like this big.
Yep.
And it's got right now it's got a bunch of food, but I have 2 totes
Mhm.
full of stuff at my campsite. Plus I have, you guys gave me a tent.
Mhm.
I have another one that a mouse destroyed that I've been sleeping in, trying to save the second one you gave me.
Yeah.
I'll do it if I can get that up there, and then I was thinking of going to the food shelf tonight. So I have to figure out, do you guys have a bus schedule here?
You can just, you call us, you can
Yeah.
say, can you pick me up?
Okay.
Let me give you the number.
Okay. Do you mind if I throw my phone on your charger?
Go for it.
USB-C?
Do you need one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's outside.
We'll find that. It's the USB, whatever.
I don't have the wall thing. Want to plug it into my computer?
You and I can have conversations about like what would, like what's available in Johnson for like, possible jobs.
Possible job?
Yeah.
Do you know anything off the top of your head other than Dollar General? Like, if you had a plow?
I mean, there's a mobile and Jollies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There's also like, I don't know if Jenna's Promise, they hire a lot of people who struggle with addiction. Like a place that, it's like a nonprofit place that, I guess not nonprofit because
Well,
they use their daughters.
There's a whole organization.
Yeah.
There's a, part of it is like a rehab support thing, and
Yeah.
then they have a store called Jenna's Promising Goods.
And then they have
Like
a
big
coffee
box.
shop.
Is this your I just wanted a couple. How long do we have? When does the snow usually thaw out here? Like May,
April.
Yeah, April and May.
April and May?
So late.
Somebody's giving me a really good deal on a motorcycle
Mhm.
for probably half off, like 1,700.
Mhm.
So that's 4 weeks of work. The computer, if you guys knew anyone that could help me, like YDP used to help a lot. YDP got me like $3,000 worth of studio equipment, and I used that helped me make money and work for 4 years.
So
Right,
it
a
sounds like maybe hireability could be an option for
Higher
you.
ability. Did they give out vouchers for like a nice computer that I could use for animation and music production? And
I think that would be a conversation you would have to have for them, but I do know that they help supply like things that are needed for people to do work.
okay,
So I'm sure if you guys could come up with like a sustainable plan that they might be able to fund something like that.
I mean, I'd ask for a tool set.
They also have like to help you get back and forth to jobs, they can also provide you with an electric bike.
Real?
There's a lot of resources out there that can help.
Are they in town or are they in?
Yeah, they're right here in town.
Okay,
Do you want to sit down and talk?
sure. Do you want me to go in another room?
Yeah, let's go into the. Are you comfortable in the conference room or in my office?
I don't mind anywhere. We can
Okay,
do it
let's
here.
go into my office just because I have all the things in front of me in there. Okay,
Okay. Do you want me to pick up or?
you can leave it there. Or you can bring it.
All right.
Casey, do you have food stamps?
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
I've got, I think, 150 left.
Okay, good.
Why?
Because I was gonna give you the application if you didn't.
Okay, cool.
Do you have insurance, health insurance? Medicaid?
I don't. I
Yes.
had Medicaid. I don't know if they go out when you're 20. I thought it ends.
We'll figure it out.
I was a DCF kid. They said a lot of my stuff ends on.
Medicaid.
Okay. Right.
Because
See
you don't
y'all
have income, you automatically qualify. You don't carry anything.
I don't think I need anything else.
Come on with me then.
Alright.
No, you'll have to excuse my
Which one was the one that called the
office.
cops?
I'm sorry?
Which one was the one that called the cops?
No, I'm not really sure if it was anybody in the building. It might have been like building,
We should keep that. I thought it was just in the show after a kid was trying to get my attention through the window.
yeah, I think that it was earlier this morning, actually. Yeah, I just saw the cops right there. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, okay? We're going to,
It smells nice in here.
thank you. Fill out a referral, or a release rather. I have to grab one from Hazel, okay?
Okay.
You just go ahead and sit right there, I'm just gonna grab one.
That's my plan. You don't have to tell me to sit down, lady. Is that courteous? Is that them being courteous? Is that hospitality? Now she's gonna get sick. Look, hey.
All right, my friend. Let's see what we can do, okay? All right, so is there any chance you'd want to see if you can get into a hotel tonight through the state program or no?
Where would it be?
It's really hard to say because it's all over the state, but they have Jeffersonville and then they have the Sunset right here in Morrisville too. Is there a chance you'd want to try?
I heard it's usually full.
Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes people do.
I mean, I obviously want to, and I'm sick. Why not?
Yeah?
Worse.
Okay.
I mean,
What's
I
your
don't think it makes anything worse.
K-A-C-E-Y?
C.
K, so it's C-A-S-E-Y?
Yeah. Also, my coat is messed up.
Yeah.
I got a lot of holes in the shoulder.
Mhm.
Do you guys have a coat or like a fleece or something?
Let's look.
Okay.
Casey.
Wouldn't have asked if it wasn't an actual thing. Okay.
I know you wouldn't. What's your last name?
O'Brien.
O-B-R-I-E-N.
I-E-N.
Oh,
You're Irish too, right?
I am Irish.
The Shamrock.
Are you Irish?
Yeah. I mean, my dad and I have the same gold ring around our iris that Brian Brew had.
Yeah? That's pretty intense, huh?
Yeah, we have I have Rh negative on both sides. The
Yeah.
blood. So people think it was some weird mutation that happened in a small group of people that the CIA said gives them some type of heightened abilities that they're not sure how it came about. But we know that like Queen Elizabeth has it, all the Rothschilds have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I was rich like them, but at least I have that. I don't know what it is. My mom thinks she can speak to aliens.
Oh, really?
Most people would say that that's schizophrenic, but she's adamant that she doesn't have it and I have it. She thinks that she's an alien. And she sits in Section 8 and meditates all day. And then she'll freak out and then she'll call everyone that might know where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll tell them that I'm schizophrenic and I need to go into a hospital immediately.
That must be really hard.
It was hard to have friends, and now my hometown attacks me on the internet once a month, calling me pathetic little schizo. And I'm like, I've tested out of schizophrenia for 10 years.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
it's gonna be really hard to deal with. I'm sorry that you have to deal with that.
Thank you. I don't know. She deletes it before we can catch her for slander. And she's lied to the police several times just to hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm just gonna call the emergency hotline line.
Okay.
It takes a hot minute to get in there sometimes, like, but we'll figure it out, okay?
Okay.
Now go online and see what hotel availability is in the area at dcs.vermont.gov/benefits/GA and click on the housing capacity for the daily update. In order to ensure that we are able to assist you, you may be asked to provide 30 days of income information, as well as verification of your previous residence and reason for home. You can send us any documents via email in the office or through our uploader on vermont.gov. Please note that our telephone line closes at 4:30 p.m. If you are on hold past that time or are awaiting a callback, please call back following. Welcome to the Economic Services Emergency Housing Line. All calls are confidential and may be recorded. If you are calling for emergency housing, please stay on the
I
line.
messed it up.
For all other calls, call 800-479-6151 or press option 3 to be transferred to our benefit services. If you are calling to inquire about changing to a different hotel, please note changes to a new location will be based on availability at the end of your current authorization. Requests for changes before the end of the current authorization period will only be made.
Should talk a lot, don't they? Phone calls like this can be really hard when we do them by ourselves. I always like to do them.
Thank you for calling Economic Services. This is Tracy. May I get your name and your social security number?
Hi, so the name is Casey O'Brien. You can come right over here. And the social security number is
009 84 0184.
What are you guys calling in for today?
housing, emergency housing.
Bookkeeper housing or currently housed and need to apply for again?
They're homeless, under a tent.
Okay, and can I get your name too, please, ma'am?
My name is Lita Norris. I work at Capstone.
Give me just a moment to pull up this information and I'll be right back with you.
You got
okay?
it.
I know. This is my 4th year. It's sometimes they'll do it for 6 hours before, like around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Did you call the office directly or did you call
I called the number provided.
the 211?
Sorry, what? The 211?
Not
No,
two-
I called 1-800-775-0506.
Okay, I think I've called them before. 211 is ours.
So it's 211 is the same technical place, but it's after hours.
Okay,
Yeah. So like if you call 211 during the day and you need
they probably
this, it'll directly connect you with the number I just called. But I bet after hours it takes longer.
Did she say how long the wait?
She didn't. She's gonna check. She's pulling up your file if you have
Okay.
one. And she's probably going to check hotel
Okay.
availability around the area.
Yeah, but I mean she's working directly. It's not like they took the call in to be friendly and then they said, "Oh no, we actually
No,
have."
I don't
6
think
other
so.
people.
I don't know.
That's good. So we got help right away,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it could be like they changed it to be more courteous, but we're still in line with 12 other people. It'd still be better to let us know. If you can get me that e-bike or help me get that e-bike, that would change my whole life.
So the thing about it is like we have to connect you with higher ability. You would have to come into your services and stay connected with you. Do you think they could be able to do that?
What do you mean stay connected?
Just like meet me once every 2 weeks for an hour. Talk about how you're doing.
You know, Kate, are you there?
Yep.
We're there. We're here.
Okay, I just need to get Casey.
Yep.
Do I have your permission to speak with Leah freely about everything?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sorry. I needed to make sure.
No problem.
So I do have everything pulled up, but he has had services from this before. We would have to qualify him under a category now. They changed legislation this year.
Yeah.
And it's where it used to be everybody qualified, now you have to meet a category even for the adverse weather.
Mm-hmm.
I do qualify for domestic violence because of Marco, technically.
We can do one, we have a form called the 201 GVR.
Mm-hmm.
It can be filled out by any licensed healthcare professional, just stating, you know, the client will be better off housed and looking that. We verify the verification, and then we can house them under that.
And where can I get that? Where can I pull that paper up?
I know if you just Google the 201 GVR in state of Vermont, it will pop right up also.
Is it the disability variance form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have that right here. I can print off.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you can print that.
we just need a healthcare provider to do that?
Yes, yeah, and it doesn't have to specifically be a doctor, it can be a nurse practitioner, therapist, they just have to have a license number that we can verify.
Okay, and is there any availability in Morrisville right now? The client does not have transportation.
A lot more, so let's take it easy. Sorry, just looking at.
You're okay. Take your time.
So as of this moment, I cannot say for sure. We had some rooms at the end of yesterday. I personally haven't checked this morning, and I don't see any notes where anyone else has yet.
Mm-hmm.
We do only have two, well, technically we only have one in Morrisville. The other one that's in that area that participates is Jeffersonville.
Right.
But those are the only two we have.
Okay. So
We can't check availability until we're ready to house. And,
okay.
even with that form, based on his age in that category, we won't be able to process an application till noon.
Okay.
So if you can get that form in for us, even if you can't get it in right today, we can usually provisionally house for up to 4 nights to get time to get the form in. But if you get it in, it's much easier. We have to get that provisional housing approved too.
Okay, so you're saying that you can house up to 4 nights without the form?
Provision, as long as management approves it.
Okay.
In general, they do. I mean, I can't guarantee it, of course.
Yeah.
But in general, they do time to get it in. And then it's just based on availability at the hotel.
Okay. And can we just make a note possibly in there that he was sleeping under a tent at our building last night? Anywhere. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get a doctor to fill out that form, and then we will give you guys a call back.
Okay, like I said, if you don't get it done today, just still give us a call back at noon.
Okay.
We do get really busy at noon because the whole group of people that have to wait till noon.
Okay.
You can still look for housing and just ask for provisional housing, and I'll put that in there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Bye-bye. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go grab that paper off the printer, okay? And then I'm gonna give it to Katrina and see if she can get it filled out by Carrie while you and I do some other things together, okay?
Cool. I don't like the systematic spell work in place to destroy my personal sovereignty and gaslight me into feeling disabled. You know what I'm saying? My soul yearns for the bus. Look at what happened to my hair, man. It was cool. We're out here getting help. We out here getting help. This is what they wanted, though. It's not a waste of time because I'm an independent journalist working on a story. I'm an independent journalist gathering content for a story, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a waste of time. And she's Irish. I'm not going to get up and go look at where I was because it might look like I'm snooping around. I'm basically a secret agent at this point. Like, CIA agents do this, but they just, they also, like, pick locks and, like, plant things in people's drinks and stuff. But other than that, they just do this. They just travel around and gather intel. I have a fever. I have a fever, guys. I'm sick.
All right. So Katrina's gonna help me work on it. Give you this pen. I'm gonna have you sign. You wanna like sign it right here, actually. Just sign that if you don't mind. That way we can get it over to Carrie and have her hopefully sign.
Do people seem a little uncomfortable when you ask them to sign? Like, does it happen a lot?
Sometimes.
1-8, 24,
Yes.
25.
Why do you?
I didn't, because people used to say sign your, when they say sign your life away,
Yeah.
that really made me uncomfortable because I'm like, what is that saying?
Oh, for this?
No,
Oh, when
signing.
people say that?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So when they ask for my autograph, I like it.
Oh.
Like, can I get your autograph?
That's
But
a good one.
yeah.
Alright, I'll be right back.
I'll fucking shoot everyone in this bitch. I'll shoot you all. I have a bomb. Clipped. Get fucking clipped, bitch. They're draining my life force energy. I take it all back. It all worked out. I didn't have enough for McDonald's, so I chose this life. I have $1 left. Because I bought a second phone, but look how much I told you that was going to be a goated decision. You know what I'm saying? So, at this point, you should assume that every single organization or business or friend group is an overarching mind flayer attached to all of them, life and spiritual wealth.
Alright. So where were we before that? We were talking about being connected and coming in for services. Right? And what that looks like.
You just want me to check in with you every now and then?
Yeah, so like, what that looks like is like, so you're already signed up for a coordinated entry assessment, right?
What that means?
I think you're with. So a coordinated entry assessment is just something that puts you in our system in a category, like, I want to say category, but it's not like really categorized. It just puts you at like a number, right? So depending on how you score, either put you up higher or lower on the risk for housing opportunities that come up. So
I know I did a whole intake. It's like 3 different capstones, and this is like my 3rd year that I've been to this one. So I think I might have done it. I'm not sure if it's the
you
same.
have to redo it every year. even if
I
you
may have.
did. Yeah.
I don't think I have actually. I think they wanted me to come in and I never showed up. I would just show up for
That'll do it.
yeah, I think
All right, let me look because I feel like for some reason.
no,
everybody
no,
said
that wasn't it. They asked if I wanted housing and I said not yet because it was the summertime.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I said I only really showed up for food.
Right. I think I might have been trying to help you that time. Oops, let me just,
That cop kicked my wagon and tried to ask Katrina if that was her property.
oh my gosh.
He told me I wasn't welcome here.
Hey, is he set up for coordinated entry? Okay, well.
They're liable to receive
Next what?
a Duke.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll let him know. Thank you. Bye. So you already set up for an appointment? It sounds like there.
Oh yeah, on Friday
Yeah.
at 10.
So let me write that here so you can keep this in your pocket and it also has my number on it in case you
Okay.
need anything, okay?
Cool.
So it's 17. Let's see who is there. Okay, so there's that on Wednesday. So are you okay staying here for about another hour and you can call back?
Yeah, I mean, do you mind if I use your conference room to make a phone call?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, what I want to talk about here, so what's going to happen, I'm going to explain the process of everything to you, okay?
Mhm.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you do your coordinated entry assessment, it puts you in a category at risk or homeless. You're going to be in the homeless category, okay?
Mhm.
And then what that looks like from there is going on a wait list and probably be given to a housing counselor. Now I'm just gonna imagine that you're gonna come to me, okay? So I'm probably going to be your housing counselor. And so it's a good thing that we're already establishing a relationship. And what that looks like is you coming in for an appointment either every week or every other week is what I ask. We work on getting a job, figuring out your doctors, making sure you have health insurance and Medicaid, putting you on, so because of the coordinated entry, you're on a list for housing. And that means that if we have a unit that comes up that's subsidized, that you would fall in line to possibly be able to get that unit. So I've just had a couple clients who have fallen in line to get units at a subsidized level.
Are those the buildings
Yeah.
down
So
the
it's
road
one
down
with
the
the Dragon in Morrisville across from the Bijou. And then it's Gordon Lane.
I thought it was the one, if you go, where the gym is, Snap Fitness,
So that is actually the state's. That is Vermont State Housing Authority.
down that road past the farm.
Yep, that is subsidized housing, but it's not through us. We only have like partners that work with us for MOU units, which means they're in buildings that have regular prices, but they're brought down to the level that our clients can afford based on their income.
I'm more worried about e-bike would definitely help. I want a job. I want a protection dog.
Yeah, and those are all things that you know can work on together.
You think you'd be able to help with like a Cane Corso and protection training for like an emotional support dog?
So those are all things we can look into. Because
Okay.
those are all, like, we can find providers that have funding for things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like Hireability and ICANN and Learn, those are all organizations that help people that are in positions like you. So meeting,
What if, I know that it's not your organization, but if I was like a successful content creator where my job was reliant on the internet in order, like, I get donations and sell, eventually I'm pretty close to selling merch, and if I have a computer, it would take off really quickly and I'd be able to do stock trading, because I did make a lot of money in crypto. The computer broke, so I wasn't able to take it out, and then eventually the stock went down. Crypto's like really volatile. So at one point I did make 2,500. So I knew if I had a computer, I'd be able to do it again. And there's also, like, I stayed at this shack in the woods, and it's owned by some corporate company. Like, have you been to Randolph? Have you been to Vermont State University?
when I was younger.
There's there's the intersection. There's that big road with the mountain view.
Yep.
There's a park and ride right before the college, and there's about 15 acres out in the woods that is owned by some corporation. Like, it might be, I forgot which one. It's like a chain store, like a clothing store. Like the guy that owns the Kohl's in Williston also owns that property. Just picked it up to keep it, and they have they're never going to do anything with it. They're just waiting to let the property value raise. So I thought, meeting him, I lived there for 4 months with no issues. Right now it's just a den for wanderers out of the park and ride to go shoot up. So I'm sure he might actually be happier if he knows I'm there. And I was also, like, I was clearing out trails. I had a wheelbarrow. I was bringing rocks from a river, and
And he owns that property and that little shack.
I've never met him, but when I looked it up on the internet, it said it was owned by this corporation.
Those are things that we could look into. We could,
Just trying to
try
get.
and figure out.
I wanted
I
my
can't make any definite promises like immediately, right? But those are things that we can work towards figuring out together.
Yeah, and also getting a passport. I want to.
We can pay for that.
That's what I was looking at.
We can get you an ID, passport, whatever,
I'm not really looking for housing as much. If I really wanted a permanent place here, I'd try to get like 5
Even if
acres.
You don't want it to be permanent, at least it'll get you through the winter, right? Where you're not freezing to death outside.
I mean, I'm $300. Like, how much is a? I've never had one. The Jackery power stations, like the little portable batteries that you can plug in that when you take on camping trips. I don't know if that can run a heater all night. I know it can charge a phone like 7 times. I know as long as I have a Jackery, because I'm thinking about how to fix the situation as a whole when I'm going through it. Like, I know that the cops are going to keep harassing these guys, and they really like the idea of, I'm going to run these junkies out of town. He was like kicking at my stuff, getting aggressive. He did a lot more than he needed to, and I called him out, and he got worse. And eventually, he was just like spitting at the ground next to me and stomping around. And he was, yeah, and he wouldn't look at me in the eyes. And then when the camera would move, because I was on live, every time the camera would go away, he'd turn back and just like stare me down, really angry. And I'm like, stare at me though. I'd point the camera and say, stare at me the way you were just staring at me. I want to, and he knew that he was doing something weird that was really, to me, that doesn't seem mentally sound. So that's the only reason that it was that long, drawn out, because I was waiting for them to stop. And then I would have just talked to Katrina. The first thing I said was just like, hey, is Hazel here? Could she come out and talk to me? Because you guys there's a lot more going on with you guys than what's actually necessary here. I'm just sitting here. I know I'm still not allowed to be here and still disrespectful. But that's all it was. The point was, these power stations range from like 150 to like 450. Sometimes they have deals where you can get one for like $300 that's worth like $1,000. Like around Black Friday, I had one, but then the person canceled
Keep
it.
talking, I'm listening. I'm just gonna look up a number for you. Go ahead.
All right, I got you. With those, they could show up. It doesn't take long to charge, like maybe 4 hours. You could go to the library, and then you have an entire night's worth of phone charge, flashlight, running a heater, running an appliance, like some type, maybe a microwave. And then these guys don't have to come, like all the homeless people that would technically be causing trouble downtown, they wouldn't have to be there because they're only there probably to pick up and move drugs around, and then also to get
So
an
you're
outlet.
saying that you want to get one of those?
Yeah.
To what? For people to charge their things without having to go into like the library?
Yes, they have a means. It's less time they'd spend downtown, and then they can also be further out in the woods than normal.
So
And-
you're wanting to provide that for them, or you're?
No, I'm just saying I wish I had one,
Oh, you wish.
and that if you guys had a way to get it in the future, that's the solution that I found, is that having those would allow me to spend less time in town, because that was the issue that the police were having, is that we're here. So if they want us out, I was thinking getting a tool set to build a rickshaw with wheels, because when you're on the rail trail, they're not going to let you go onto their property to sleep at night, but you might want to go up to Northfield or Newport, or you might want to go up to St. Albans, and you don't want to take a 16-hour bus ride and stay 9 hours down at the bus station where there's all that crime in Burlington. It's dangerous and violent, and the police are just as bad. So if you're like me, who is on a low-key pilgrimage coming from Randolph all the way to St. Albans, I physically couldn't go. I couldn't leave town because everywhere that I went, and I went all the way to Johnson before, everywhere I tried to stop, the property owners were like revving the chainsaws at me. They were letting the dogs out to scream at me. They were like coming up and stomping around where I was. They were like throwing rocks. Nobody's going to be able to stay anywhere on this rail trail. But if they came here, and like I have this wagon, but this wagon isn't near what I want it to be, but if like you had like an 8-foot platform you could sleep on, which is just 2 pallets with the enclosed box around it, 3 sides, then the tent that you guys offer, you could put the tent in there. Like a lean-to, but it's got 2 wooden wheels and an axle, and it's got the wheelbarrow handles, so that when you're ready, you can leave everything in the cart, and then you can just pick up and then walk as long as you want, and then you're on the rail trail. So you just take it off a little bit. Instead of like bringing a tent all the way into the forest onto somebody's property, hey, there's a guy in a rickshaw here. He's going to be on the side so the truck doesn't get him when they go through. And it's lockable. He can put a lock on it from the inside, like a little door. So that's safer, because you never know who could go down that road. And if you're in a tent, it's more dangerous than if you're in one of these little locked containers. And then you could potentially take that as far as you want. That could take you all the way over to the ferry. They'll let you get on the ferry with it. You could take that all the way up to Cumberland Head up in Plattsburgh. Go to Plattsburgh. Then you could also, it would fit on the long trail. You could take that on the Appalachian Trail. So then there's like a little station where you can build yourself a wagon. You build somebody else's wagon first, then you build your own. You leave one.
You know what? There are so many trails out there, like in the south and the west, that you're able to like hike and sleep on.
Mhm.
And if that's something that you're looking for,
I mean, I really just want to make my music. I've written a couple TV shows. I have like a whole life story I wanted to do. I have like 5 or 6 albums. I've got 1,000 songs. I wanted to be in the space, and then there's just so much stuff while I'm young, because I don't want to I can like write a book when I'm old, but while I'm young, I want to go do a bunch of stuff. There's just so much going on right now, like in Brattleboro. Have you heard about Planet Hank? Did I tell you about this before? My phone isn't charged, but there's a guy that's filming like a mock version of Cops in Brattleboro because of the crime that's happening down there and the drug use. So anytime there's anything interesting, he shows up with his camera, and it's a nice camera, but he records the cops, and the cops like it. Like the last video I watched, I mean, there was a guy that was 5'5", really skinny. He was nodding off in a parking lot. They didn't find any drugs on him yet. So he passed the breathalyzer. So all they knew is that he was nodding off in a parking lot. He was speaking coherent and fine. They got him out of the parking lot, or out of the car. He passed the breathalyzer. They still arrested him before they found anything on him. They had no probable cause. There were 7 of them for this one 5'5" guy. 6 of them crowded around him because the guy was recording. The cop was like having fun with it. He was like, "Look over there," and then yanked the guy's hand like this because that like loud whatever. And then the guy's already kind of impaired and traumatized and like an animal homeless guy. He went, "What? What are you doing?" What are you doing? Lifting the arms up when the cop grabbed him. Didn't say you're under arrest or anything. Just grabbed him. That's resisting arrest. So then they all grabbed him. They lifted him up, and then they all just like WWE suplex. They all just dropped their bodies on top of him. So 6 guys. They're all like 200 pounds each. Or 5 guys. 5 times 2. That's 1,000 pounds on the guy's back, and he face planted right into the concrete. And then this guy Hank is laughing with the camera watching this guy, and then he posts it and 10,000 people see it. Then that guy gets trespassed from the whole town. Then there's a group of people that go out and beat the fuck out of him. Then they go online and brag about all the ways they're hurting these people when nobody's watching, like finding their tent site and then going and hurting them. And then some of them go missing and they just assume they left town, but you have no idea. And this guy's now running to be a part of the government with his fan base of these people that are violent and doing this. So he has a select board meeting on the 10th. I was hoping that somehow God would provide me an embroider and I would turn my coat into a suit of armor and I'd get somebody to record me and I'd go in like the King of the North and I'd go tell everybody off about what they're doing and then try to get the other townspeople involved to kind of expose that, because they can see exactly what I saw, that it was an unlawful arrest where they used excessive force to put on a show for the camera, where they traumatized someone for the rest of his life. That resulted in him probably getting a lot worse just because he's on a drug that, isn't it proven that the CIA was the one that made crack and made heroin? And at some point they were pushing it and they were caught being responsible for manufacturing and selling it in the projects in major cities. So that did come out that whether they created it, they were the top dog of the drug industry at one point. So for whatever reason, it's our own government has a part in the suffering and the addiction that these people are facing.
Yeah.
So that's like they still made the choice to do the drug, but they're petty criminals. They're not raping and killing.
Right.
They're like checking car door handles.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this stuff is just like people that leave needles on the ground and stuff like this. A lot of it, they're just one conversation away from not doing that anymore. It's just finding the right thing to say to them and how to speak to them. And I'm getting closer to figuring it out, but I know that I'm not seeing it in the cops, at least here. I think Berlin City's pretty good at it. So I want to talk to them more. They accused me of doing it yesterday. Like they walked up and said, "Are you going in and checking in cars?" And I'm like, "You have no reason to believe I am."
Yeah.
I think the point was those big things like that, like putting on a new clothing line that I create with a creative person in town, and then getting everybody together to go do something that changes to make content. That's what I'm focused on more than like getting into a Section 8 apartment. Like I don't mind sleeping outside because I'm working on this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have like a piece of land, like 5 acres with like low property tax. I don't know how much 5 acres would cost.
Yeah.
But
those are really big goals, and it sounds like we're gonna do what we can to try and get those goals met for you.
Mhm.
But let's get you established in the conference room so that you can make your phone
yeah, we have an
calls.
hour.
Yep. We're
It's
probably gonna
11:01.
like call around 11:45. I do have another appointment until then, but let's get you established in there, and we'll give them a call, okay? Or at 11:45, then not until 11:45. So, do you want to grab your stuff and put it in there?
Yeah. Now I have my own desk.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the phone down here for you, and all you need to do, Casey, is push 9 and then 802 and dial the number.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just grabbing my. I have to think.
Yeah.
Fill my senses. They're ripping and tearing at the fabric of my consciousness. Mr. Believance. Those cops were so brainwashed they didn't realize that nothing they did was necessary. Unless they were doing it because they wanted to hurt me. Then it all makes sense. Legal aid paperwork. Need legal aid paperwork. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I was immediately sick after that guy the other day at the McDonald's. It's like I almost got hit with a sickness. Like I breathed it in, and in one breath, I was suddenly sick. And now a lot of people are talking about nanoparticles and AI. That I think that that's what it is. It seems to be attached at the throat. I was throwing up last night. I think I did throw up a lot last night next to the wagon. Okay. Drama. What the fuck? Who the fuck did this? What the fuck? What the fuck is that? I have this weird feeling that Marco is going to lose his job. Remember when I made the video Sheboygan Lager? Okay, I thought she was printing it out. Yo, good. Were you printing out the legal aid paperwork?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll be right back.
no problem.
Just because we don't have a receptionist right now, just make sure you're not wandering around the building so people don't get pissed off.
I'm not going to wander around the building.
Okay. So just right there. Just stay right here. You can open up the windows, the blinds. If
I
you
wanted
want.
another orange juice. If you
I'll get
have
you
it.
one.
Can I get a couple?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
And I am going to double check to make sure I didn't leave anything out here.
You got it.
Okay. I mean, she's offering to get me like a $2,000 e-bike, so you know I'm gonna be a little bit respectful. If she needs to be a controlling kind, whatever. I'm sure she's very nice. It's just I'm an animal man, and what was I looking for? Let's see if there's a plug-in for the outlet here, so I could charge my second phone in here. There's a computer. They've trapped me. I'm an empath. I guess the Windows allows me to channel God better with the outside world. You want to see some art? Thanks, Susie. That's cool. That 3D art's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I'm over with this. That's cool. Look at that.
All right, my friend.
Okay. Thank
There you
you.
go. And then I'll go get those papers, okay?
Okay. And then we're here till noon, right? So I have 45 minutes. Yep. The depressurization from the air outside allows me to maintain my intimidating vibe. It's that time. There's a green emerald Lego piece here. I'm cold. Okay, let's set up. Well, I have to be here till noon. Okay. I am at it's called a community action program. So it's like a funnel for people that are in need of housing and resources to go and get signed up for different programs. But if you didn't hear, she kept saying all these people that got connected to me and now fall in line. Did you guys pick up on that? She kept saying that once I'm connected, I'm gonna fall in line. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Anybody important?
No.
Okay.
I'm on FaceTime.
Okay. So we got
Wait, okay, if I come in too?
Yeah.
we're gonna be able to get a doctor to sign off on that paper so that you can
Okay.
but the catch-all is that you have to go to the doctor's office just to be seen real quick so that they can fill it out.
They
Okay.
have express care, so you can be a walk-in.
Okay.
And they have RCT can bring you over. And if you are not feeling comfortable going alone, I could probably drive over and meet you there.
It's not that, and I don't want to get you. I have a fever.
I listen, I have 2 kids.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't scare me.
If you want to do that? Like,
Would that make you more comfortable?
sure. I mean, no, I think I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
As long as-
Okay,
I just-
as long as you're fine, I'm fine.
I don't want to be out in the cold anymore.
Yeah.
Not, if it's fine, like, after I rested, I woke up feeling good. I can feel it slowly coming back. I know I'm sick, so I just don't want to do it. I feel like it's hard to just walk around right now.
Right.
Take some time to
So
rest.
Yeah.
we're gonna have a bus pick you up,
Okay.
bring you over to the doctors, and then probably bring you back here so we can call together
Okay.
and get you a room. Hopefully I'm praying that they still have it. If not, we can try and figure out another plan.
I will email ESD and let them know that we sent it over to get the form. We're still very much pursuing this, and I will be calling as soon as he gets back.
Okay.
Otherwise, the only other thing, like I would have left here months ago. It's just I now have that wagon. I have probably 2 totes. I've got a nice expensive tent that I think somebody overdosed in. There was poop everywhere, so I didn't have a way to wash it. I didn't want to like show up here with a poop-filled giant tent and be like, "Can you help?" So I left it for the winter. It's like convenient.
There wasn't anybody in it when we found it.
There was a guy with a walker. You probably know him. He was an old guy, larger, and he had a walker. And he would put on a diaper and he'd go out in the woods and he would shoot up and shit himself. So there was like a whole puddle of piss and shit in the side. It looked like he had tried to fix that by dumping a bunch of hydrogen peroxide.
But he wasn't, he was not there.
I waited for
Deceased.
I waited for a month for him to come back. I was right down the road. The police said so.
So you've got some stuff.
Yeah, we've never really spoke. I'm not mad at you.
I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, no, I mean it was disrespectful to do that. I'm sick.
I don't feel that it's disrespectful for you to try to stay warm somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't feel disrespected in any
Okay.
manner. I just, there's, like you were talking, rules and regulations that we all have to follow sometimes, and it doesn't always line up with your life, you know? So
I didn't like that.
I totally didn't expect to find you under there,
It-
honestly, and I'm really glad that you're okay.
So it was none of you did it. It was the cops showed up.
I did call because I didn't know if you were under there, but I was very clear when I called them that I was looking for support
Yeah.
to help make a plan for you to be safe and warm. I did not want them coming here and just no trespassing,
Yeah.
because we want you to be able to.
I got you.
continue To come here and get help.
I
We
would have.
just cannot, we can't
But you
because of
were
the
given
police.
direction to call.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
it wasn't Katrina
no,
being
Yeah.
like,
no,
I don't want.
and it was never with an intention of we want you in trouble or want to
Yeah.
make it harder for you in any way.
No, I know. Just I know there's it's gonna be different every time someone shows up, and I'm sure I won't be the last person that stays out here because this is
You're not the first.
it's safe here and you have an outlet.
Yeah.
I said in the future, maybe what would help, what I've learned, at least surviving Morrisville, getting a portable power station like a Jackery limits the time that you'd spend in here. If they don't want us here and we're gonna be here because it's safe, everywhere else is dangerous right now.
Okay.
Having just one of those power banks that could charge my phone for 3 days. So I don't want to be in town. I want to be out in the woods. I've just been trying to save up and get that, but I couldn't get anyone on eBay. There's something with like,
How much do they cost, really?
I mean, the regular Jackery is like 150, but to get like the best deal is probably 100 because you get the same as if you bought 4 Jackeries. So it's like $600 value, and that's the EcoFlow portable power stations. I tried to get that. It didn't work out because they wouldn't deliver it to general delivery at the post office. And I didn't come here to ask you guys. But those you can get on eBay cheap. Then it could be like, I mean,
Do you have some income coming in right now?
I go live and help people with mental illness. So
When they threw that up?
sometimes like in 2021, I helped a church down in West Virginia because I used to just send it across the country. I had a brain injury. I thought I had a brain injury. Now I think that I just had PTSD and I was in the wrong environment. But I thought that I needed help and I didn't know how to help myself. So I found someone on Instagram that specializes in healing brain injuries. turns out that she's a subcontractor for the CIA and she's a quantum physicist. I just thought, because she talks about God a lot and how to connect to the Great Spirit, like the indigenous talk about through quantum mechanics, which wasn't, I'm happy I went down that road, but you know, for a 19-year-old, I wish I would gone to like college parties and stuff. But I went there, showed up at her doorstep at her office. She called the cops. The cops trespassed me. She called me. She found my Instagram and called me 20 minutes later because my mom called her and said, why? He's just a nut job. He loves you. So she called me crying and said, you know, I've had a big ego because I'm getting famous. I thought you were a fan. I get it. This was supposed to happen. And she gave me like $1,000 worth of medication, a big book on how to heal brain injuries and cancer. And so far, I've got like 5 people that have lost 100 pounds. I had somebody that he was going in and getting surgery done where they had to like rip open his guts and take cancer out every month. With what I learned, he's never been back. Like he had 1 month to live for 2 years, spend all of his money. They were gutting him like a fish and ripping it out. All he had to do is just stop eating, take omega-3s, take multivitamins, take all the fat that he had on him, and then get rid of it. The body then, when it doesn't have anything to eat, and you're not consuming any fast-acting sugars like this, and you don't have like a big storage of fats, it's called autophagy, which is just, it looks in and it's like, you know, we don't need this cancer, so we need food, let's just eat it. So it just eats it from the inside, and that's why the Bible talks about fasting so much. So he did that. Yeah, it's just a big secret hidden from doctors because now we have to go back every month, and yeah. So
How old are you now?
I'm 25, but they say like you pretty much stay as old as you are the first time you do acid and the first time you were severely traumatized. So I kind of had my childhood taken from me. I was a DCF kid. Like for like 2 years of my life, I wasn't allowed to like hug people or say, I had like really strict, I was in the retreat residential program down in Brattleboro. So that was like, a lot of staff treated me like Marco treated me today.
Yeah.
Where like, if you say anything out of line, they're looking to get you. He was trying to get you to say, he was hoping that, remember when he said, "Has this wagon always been broken?" Yeah, he was hoping that you would say, "No, it's not." And then he'd charge me with destruction of property. So I used to have staff that was like, if I said or did something, then I would be locked in.
Is that your wagon or was it ours?
Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah.
And he knows that, but he was
Yeah, I hear you.
just throwing jabs at that point. What was the point? I helped a church in West Virginia, and the guy went on to be, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like my name's Casey Francis O'Brien. I took a bus down to West Virginia to buy a car. The car was a piece of garbage. There was a cab driver that kept following me around, and he would like stare at me like this. He's a short guy staring up through the window.
I would need his Medicaid numbers.
Um,
Do you know if they're like in
let me see if I.
or Social Security?
So I went down to West Virginia to get a car. I have my Green Mountain Care.
Let me see that. Yep, that's it.
My name's Casey Francis O'Brien. Got in this cab because the car sucked. I was like, I'll just go back home. Wasn't running on the weekend, so I had to call a cab company. I wound up a cab driver that was following me around, staring at me, really creepy. He pulled up because I had to call. I needed a cab to get to the ground station. As soon as I'm in, he locks the car door and starts screaming about God for like a half hour. He was like, "I had a dream before you got here. I knew I was going to wake up and meet you. I've been watching you all day. I know God put you here for a reason. You're special. I could feel it. I could feel it since you got here. You have something special." And I was cold. I was wearing like a that gray Walmart throw blanket that I would say was my Game of Thrones cloak. And I was just sitting there kind of half disassociated because I thought I had a brain injury, but really I just needed to be outside in the forest. His name's Frank. He brings me to the top of this big hill in Beckley, West Virginia, and he gets on the phone. I'm standing on this little, he says, "Brian, I need you here. God sent us somebody. You have to come meet him." And Brian's like, "I'm here with my family right now." And you look over and they're just standing right there. There's 6 of them. And then he gets on the phone, he calls another Brian, and the other Brian is further up the hill. And he's like, I've been watching you the whole time I'm here. So Casey Francis O'Brien goes here. Frank kidnaps him. I got kidnapped. And I was taken to 2 families of Brian's, and they all prayed over me. I stayed that night. Someone just gave me a free stay in the biggest mansion in the town. There was this giant place called the Ambrosia Inn. I got to stay at for free in the master suite just because she liked me. Then the next day, these guys had just started going out to help homeless people, where Beckley's like the worst crime in West Virginia. So we were going out and giving them like $5 gift cards to KFC and the Bible, and they wanted to preach the word of God. And I was there like, I've been homeless since I was 14. I used to do, now I don't think I would do it anymore, but where the world was before, I'm obviously I'm kind of autistic. There used to be people that would go out to cities. They're called pickup artists, but not like the guys that wear the fedora and the feather that play games, but more like autistic guys that know that they were failed socially, so they turned it into a science about how to go into a city and practice social skills to get better at it, to break through your barriers while you also work out and take supplements and work really hard, and then eventually level up your life to a position where you can get what you want out of it, where the world was trying to make you feel disabled. So instead of like reclusing into Section 8, there are guys that go out into cities and they talk to people and learn who they are and how to be better at being themselves. So I learned that at 13. So yeah, it is kind of, some of it was like, if you're attracted to a girl, you go up and have little things that you know will make them laugh. But for the most part, it's a way bigger scheme of like getting more control over your life to be a better person. It's just self-help stuff. But I'd already done that for like 10 years. I started when I was 13 because people thought I was a weird kid, and I had access to YouTube out in Whitingham where there's nobody. So I would study and practice at school. So they kind of they did one like mock way, and then the next day I showed up on a Tuesday, so Wednesday, and I think today's Wednesday. Then I got to, the first day I was in Beckley, I got to go out and show people, like a whole group of people that want to go out and talk to homeless people, the best way to come up and talk to somebody that you don't know in a way that doesn't make them feel stressed and actually ends the interaction with everybody feeling happier. So I'm saying this one because I got kidnapped by a Frank and brought to 2 Brians, and Brian means hill, and they brought me to the top of a hill.
All right, gather your
Yeah.
stuff. They're here in 2 minutes.
Brian's name is Vera Mesa. So his name is Brian Vera Mesa. He lives in a place called Mount Hope, West Virginia. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And he lives, it's just a small little West Virginian holler. And then he lives at the top of the hill. And his name means at the top of a hill in the Green Mountains. He lives in the Green Mountains. They were, I mean, yeah, they would say, I mean, I don't think they would admit that they were extremely depressed, but I mean, their house they had like a couple litters of cats just living in a room locked there, and they would just throw in food. It smelled. Nobody stayed in the upstairs. They were all living in one little living room on one mattress and a recliner. A kid would sleep on a recliner, and a kid would sleep on the couch. Now he became, after I met him, whether it's me or his own hard work, he became a truck driver and now runs his own landscaping company that he said God inspired him to call it Kingdom Cuts. So he drives a big car that says KC on the side. And I went there because I asked God, I wanted to help people take more control over their lives, to build a system that would help a lot of people. So they've been sending me, instead, I also exposed that the church, that guy tried to groom me into being gay. That Frank would lock me in the car and try to convince me I was gay, and then he'd hit on me and try to sleep with me. So for a long time, they started giving me the tithe they used to give the church. So that's like, I didn't have to follow any conventional means. And because I helped somebody, in return, I got like $5,000, and I was able to keep going to different towns. And this is just like, I'm not sure if they're dead, but I'm pretty sure I've killed a couple people in self-defense. I've had a guy named Cat who thought he was a lion on mushrooms, showed up at my tent thinking that his Viking ancestors told him that I was an ancient tree that he had to stop from growing. So he pounced on me from a tree. This old 60-year-old guy that's like a black belt jumped from a tree and started choking me out in the tent. And I had to like move the tent over him and wrap it around, take my machete and cut my way out and take off.
My goodness.
Which is really cool.
Hey Casey,
Yeah.
they're gonna be here in like a minute.
I got you.
So here's the plan, okay?
Yep.
So they're picking you up at 11:32. You're gonna go there, check in at the front desk, let them know that you're there for a walk-in appointment and that, you know, you should be in the system, so you probably
I'm
shouldn't
gonna
have a
give him a
problem.
heads up too, that he's on his way.
And then they're scheduled to pick you up at 1:22 to bring you back, so it gives you an hour and a half for the appointment. If you have internet while you're there,
Okay.
I want you to call over to the number that we called earlier for housing.
Can you write that down?
I can. Let me go grab it. Because we have to call by noon and I would hate for that room to be snatched up, okay?
All right. I never mean to throw Heather under the bus, but I never say it like you guys were depressed and I saved your life. I'm saying more like I'm very happy at the change, that you guys are doing well. If you guys were doing bad, I would have felt responsible. Clipped. See, Battle for Your Brain, you've got all these suggestions. Why don't you start to apply your knowledge and make like, even if it's like a paper, like a trifold or something that has the systematic issues you're speaking about and all the solutions you found. And also, nobody's talking about it, but these AI nanoparticles are supposedly neutralized by some type of gold and silver that you put in. It's like colloidal silver and monoatomic gold. And I don't know anything about ivermectin, but that's where we're headed next. Okay, RCT is here.
Ready?
I am coming back here, right?
Yes.
Okay,
They're scheduled to bring you right back here.
so, and I don't have to call RCT, it's gonna come back at
1:22.
1:22.
Sorry, after the afternoon call, they can go and
Okay. I'm a phoenix. I'm just constantly transforming. I'm a phoenix cat, so I play mind games. Okay. Can I?
have to sticky note.
Okay, can I leave this with you? It's just the stuff you gave me.
Yep, leave it right over here in the chair. And then here's the number for hire. We'll worry about that later. Here's the number for ESD. You call them at noon.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank
And
you.
let them know that you called for.
Okay. Do you have a preference? Front, back?
Makes no difference.
All right.
Do you still have
Mr. Casey?
Yes, sir.
or because you have kind of some kind of thought,
Hand over to the doctor, huh?
or like your soul keeps thinking about stuff, except you know a lot more because you're when you die.
77, Robert A. When you get a minute, nothing serious. Can you call me? How's it going today?
It's been better.
So, huh?
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a crazy morning so far.
It's been a crazy morning for me too.
I think everybody can agree on that.
I wanted to ask you guys, what your is there like a limit to how much I'd be able to put in the trunk if I asked for a ride up to like Hyde Park or Johnson? If I wanted to put like I have one of those Tractor Supply little wagons that I wanted to put 2 totes on full of stuff and take it up to a job. I want to get a job up at Johnson.
You think it would fit width-wise?
I think it would fit width-wise.
Yeah.
I think it would fit in the back seat here. But I didn't know.
Well, I probably wouldn't want it in the back seat, but the rear area there.
Okay, I would.
Behind you?
I'd have to make sure that it doesn't like. I'd have to bring something to clean the seats off because it's got wheels.
Well, see, what I'm saying is I would prefer to have it back there.
Yeah.
You can take a look before you get out.
I think it'll fit in this back right here.
Yeah.
And even then, like.
Because that has like a hard tray that won't dent or scratch or whatever.
Yep.
And weight-wise, I mean, unless you're gonna fill it up with bricks,
No, it'll be fine.
I think you're gonna be fine. What kind of work do you do?
Right now I'm just looking. Nobody here wanted to hire me. I've been here for 4 months.
4 months. Wow.
Probably since August. I've tried. Dollar store, the Dollar Tree wanted me, but I didn't like the people there at the time. So it wasn't that nobody wanted to hire me, but I tried all the restaurants. I don't think I tried you guys.
We were hiring drivers for a while there.
Do you need a CDL for that bus?
No.
Okay.
We do have larger ones that do, but the standard like short white bus, you don't need a special license.
Is one of your drivers' last name Putvane? And your boss's name is Bear?
No, but I know of a BJ Putvane.
Is his son's name Randy? And he works at the dollar store?
Could be, possibly. There's a BJ Putvane that lives in Johnson.
Okay.
And he works at Smugs Resort. And I don't know if he's got kids or not.
There's a kid named Randy Putvane at the dollar store. He said his dad works for a bus company that might take me in.
Oh.
He might be a shuttle for the resort or something.
Yeah, I used to drive shuttle over there. So last I knew, he wasn't in that department. He used to do security work over there, but he might be able to help you get a job.
Yeah.
They're always hiring. If you can find a way to get there, they have like the lifties that cut your ticket. And
Yeah. I didn't know if this late in the winter, if they
keep an eye on
Indeed.
or just call their human resources department.
Okay.
Because chances are they need somebody. They're always looking, and they hire lifties, housekeeping is another huge one, parking lot attendants, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they pay decent, but
I'm looking. I wasted the past 5 months sitting around. I didn't really want to work at a job, so I just fill out applications. And I'm like, if they don't get back to me, they don't get back to me.
Oh.
I didn't lie and tell them that I was pretty transparent that I live in a tent by the river.
yeah.
So I think that was probably the kicker for them.
You've got a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I find most jobs on Indeed,
Yeah.
and you can apply right over online.
I did that for a long time.
Did you?
Nobody got back to me and I have I've been working since I was 13. I've got a nice resume.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I'm kind of glad I did and glad I did. Like, I wish I had money now because I'd get a 4-wheeler or something. I don't want to spend. I backpacked for the whole year last year. I went about 250 miles.
The Appalachian Trail, or?
No, I went. Car broke down in Randolph, and I would just stay out in like shacks in the woods. Then I'd get a bike, and then I'd go to the next town, and then take a bus to some town and walk around, and then take a bus to another town. And
Sounds like an adventure.
I learned a lot about not white people, but white culture. Like, I'm not really. I grew up alone, deep in the mountains, and my dad was a really good ski instructor. But my dad was from Bronx, and I grew up with like in Whitingham, so I had peers, but I never really learned kind of how to be around them.
Yeah.
Like I thought that there was something wrong with me, and then I went to New York, and I was like, okay, we're not playing the same song. Like they weren't interested in how I spoke, interested in how they spoke. I became an artist. I worked in the music industry for a while. But here it's like riding through or walking through. So many people, I didn't know how many people actually like get together and talk crap about strangers. And I'd have police show up because somebody lied and like made up something. And I mean, literally today, a cop started kicking at my wagon and he would stare me down. And that was outside Capstone where I was sick. So I was staying with the heater. I was laying there. I guess one of the plow truck drivers at the night, instead of calling Capstone, they called the bigwig that owns the property. And the property owner, instead of talking to the people at Capstone, called the cops.
Wow.
And that's their story, but I mean, he was like in my face telling me I'm not welcome here in town. And he's illegally trespassed me from a couple places. That's what I'm saying.
You want to take a look in the back there? I can open it up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll fit. I might have to turn it sideways and put the handle over the seat. Other than that, it will.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, good luck, buddy.
I think I have another ride scheduled for 1:25 here.
Okay, that's after my time, so
Okay.
you'll probably have to look for the big bus, the white bus.
Okay, but do you know if that's going to be here? Or are you able
If
to?
you schedule it, he should be here for sure.
Okay.
It just won't be me, that's all.
All right. I'll have to call him to double check. Let me close this for you. Thank you. Okay. Are you ready for condescending white women with degrees? That's what I'm saying, Susie. Billie Eilish is a Sagittarius Aquarius too.
I did just check. If you want, I can pick it up on my way out.
Hmm.
I'm probably standing too close.
Hmm.
Yours don't like me.
Hmm. Hmm. Mm.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
Did you already go? Yeah. Good. How are you? Is there a wait, or am I good to walk up here?
Say that one more time.
Is there a line before me?
Did we schedule an appointment and get checked in?
I just came from Capstone. She said she called you.
Which day? The 19th. I could do an 11:20 appointment.
Alright, if you want to just take a seat in the waiting room, we're just talking.
Cool.
You're welcome. Anastasia?
She didn't ask my name or anything. I'm gonna ask him about nanoparticles. I think those girls are in high school. There's Sweet Baby Ray's up here at the food shelf. Birds of a feather should stick together, I know. I think the AI on YouTube, the algorithm has accounts that they know are trolls that will be negative, and they purposefully wait and hold off, and then at once, AI will put my channel on. God, she's kind of hot.
Casey, are you feeling any shortness of breath or anything at the moment?
It feels like, I don't know the best way to put it is it feels like a chakra is blocked. Like something, like it stuck a knife in my throat, and it's been hard for me to talk. I'm coughing up stuff. I quit smoking a couple months ago, so I don't know if it's a difference, but I feel like I have a fever. I feel like weak, like that kind of like tender, that like, whatever you call it, like pins and needles everywhere. Whatever you put that. All right, thank you.
March